Let's get nasty on a Thursday. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Call me a sec. I'm like, Thursday, Wednesday? The hell with it. Let's just get nasty any day that ends with Y. What do you think, boys?
You know what? I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. Jamie Rivers back today after missing yesterday. Our thanks to Dan McLaughlin, who filled in for Jamie. He was on earlier today with Jeremy Rutherford in the balloon party. Andrew Marsh here as well. I'm Anthony Stalter. 202, your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Last night, the Cardinals picked up a victory. Yes, your Cardinals over the Rays. Dakota Hudson allowed 3 runs over 5 innings in that win. Had some trouble with Jose Siri, who took him deep a pair of times. Had a couple of home runs there for Jose Siri. But he did manage to keep a very good Tampa Bay lineup in check for 5 innings. Had a couple of strikeouts, only issued 1 walk. Respectable 4.31 ERA and a 1.4 whip with a 22-11 strikeout to walk ratio across his 31 and third innings, Jamie. Any chances the Cardinals sell us on Dakota Hudson as one of the answers for that starting 5 next year?
Well, for me, it's still premature on that. You know, he's had two
Cardinals.
2 good-ish outings. The last one was really good. Let's give him full credit for that.
That's all it was.
And this one was fine. You know, like, he left the game giving up, 3 runs at the time?
Yeah, 3 runs allowed.
It's not terrible. I mean, it's not terrible. For most of this year, we'd take that. So, are they selling us on Dakota Hudson? No, but here's what they're selling me on. The idea that he can compete for a spot. Why not? If he's able to pitch like he has the last couple of games, why not let him compete for that 5th spot?
Yeah.
We've talked about it before. Like, we believe the answers, at least here in the fast lane, we believe the answers are go get an ace or a number 1 of some kind, go sign a depth guy, a 3 or 4, and then internal competition.
Yes.
There you go. So you've got whoever, player X as your 1, Michaelis, then Steven Matz, if he can continue down this path, then player Y, whoever that is, you pick up, your middle-of-the-rotation type guy, and then you've got one of your internal options, Liberatore, Hudson, some of these young guys that are like Graceffo, McGreevy, whoever pitches the best gets that spot.
Yeah.
And then maybe you even have one of those extra guys in the bullpen that comes out of the bullpen, a long man out of the bullpen for a while till you figure out exactly how this internal competition is going to play out.
Sure. Or maybe he's pitching for a spot in the bullpen.
I don't care.
Either way.
I don't care.
You have to improve your entire pitching staff. We've talked about this, too. It's not just adding starters. We'd add, actually, I think you'd be okay with this, too. Add 3 starters and then let everybody fight it out. I don't think the Cardinals are going to do that.
Throw way too much into the pail.
Yeah.
And let it figure itself out.
I don't think the Cardinals are going to view it that way. But to your point, Dakota Hudson, right now, he's put together two good starts. Yeah, let it roll from here on out.
He looks a little more calm. I'm not going to lie. Like, prior, I always held my breath, kind of, because you just didn't know where he was going to end up with the game. He looks a little more calm. Almost like he's figured a couple things out. I'm not talking about like he's an ace or anything. But he's figured a couple things out to where when he gets behind in pitch counts, he's not throwing the watermelon up there. The wheels aren't falling off per se. I know he gave a couple of ding-dong Johnsons, but that's quite common in today's game. So for me, there are signs of improvement. And Dakota Hudson's still a young guy, isn't he? 24, 25?
Yeah, I believe he's 25.
Okay, so that's not old when it comes to pitching. A lot of pitchers don't hit their peak until that 28, 29, even 30 mark to where they're like, okay, now we're in our prime.
Yeah.
So if you got a 25-year-old Dakota Hudson who's figuring some things out and that can maybe compete for your 5th spot in the rotation next year, embrace that. Give him a chance.
He's 28.
He's 28?
Yeah.
All right, maybe not so much. Why the hell did I think he was younger?
I mean, I did too. So I'm not going to let you row out to that island. Yeah, 28.
So he's competing for a bullpen spot next year.
I would
in
say
my
so.
opinion.
Yeah, or I actually don't think that you're wrong in that he can compete for the 5th spot. But I think if you're the Cardinals and you start to view him as kind of the leader of the clubhouse, just based on what he's doing when there's almost 0 expectations from here on out.
Yeah.
I don't think that's smart. Yeah, he's 20. He's 28. Now,
there's not one guy that you have currently that you should be earmarking as the guy.
No.
It just isn't.
No. You have one spot that you can open up to total competition if you're the Cardinals. I wouldn't, I would look for more certainty coming off a down year in which your fan base is furious. And that was a slow burn, too, when it comes to the fan base. The fan base wasn't just ticked off because you lost for one season. The fan base has been ticked off because of the way you've built your roster over the last 4 years now. And then this year, the bottom falls out, and now they're irate. So I would view it as, let's get aggressive here. There might be a young guy to emerge. Fine. But for me, I'm going to go into the offseason being aggressive. I'm going to look to add 3 starters, one of which is I'm going to look for an ace. I don't know if Nola's going to come here. I don't know if Snell's going to come here. I don't know if Shohei Ohtani's going to come here. But I'm going to look for an ace. If not, everybody else, I'm going to at least 3 starters. I'm sure the Cardinals will not view it that way, though.
Do you guys want to play an exercise? A little exercise here. I'm going to name
We're exercising the demons?
Absolutely. I'm going to name a player and their statistics. I want to see if you guys would take this pitcher.
Okay.
This pitcher is 35-17 in their career and has a 3.66 ERA.
Yeah.
Would you take that pitcher?
What's the FIP?
Yeah,
what's
like
the XFIP?
that's not very.
What's
like,
the
I don't care about his record.
What's the strikeout rate? Because if you're talking about Dakota Hudson, which I think you are, the Cardinals.
It's Dakota Hudson.
Yeah, the Cardinals are 35-17 when he pitches. Like he's been starting. I'm
At least they're
sorry.
winning
That
games,
was a little
though.
bit
I'm
rude.
sorry.
It was a little rude.
Win loss is a team statistic. Is it not?
They're still winning. Still winning those games.
They like him. They score runs for him.
Jacob DeGrom
That should
won
be
a
a statistic.
Cy Young when he was like 10-11 one year because he had like a 0.58 ERA, but his bullpen and run support wasn't there.
Yeah, they didn't like him. That's why they got rid of him.
Boy.
It's a good point, Marshy.
Should be a statistic on its own.
You throwing wins and losses in our faces? Is that what we're doing today?
Anthony, I'm going to throw wins and losses in your face when this team cannot win.
What about when it can win?
Well, then we can celebrate like we're doing right now.
The ERA is good. I don't. What is his xFIP? What's some of the advanced metrics when it comes to Dakota Hudson? And the only reason why I ask is ERA is a nice starting point when you're looking at statistics quickly and you say, okay, here's what his ERA is, but it's not park adjusted. It doesn't isolate some of the things that Dakota Hudson does. Like win-loss record is an indication of how the Cardinals do when a certain pitcher is on the bump. ERA is similar to that. But when it comes to some of these other advanced metrics, there's a reason why they're available. How does he do? How does he perform absent of defense, run support, and things like that? I know it's all part of the game, which is why you can look at the win-loss record. If you're going to go with that, fine. But him specifically, this is why the advanced metrics exist.
So I don't know his xFIP. I'm just looking real quick on Baseball Reference. His FIP is 4.57 in his 6 years, and his WHIP is 1.369.
So the FIP would being higher than the ERA, and pretty significantly, would be an indication that he has been somewhat fortunate to not give up more runs.
And this is why we do these
innings
exercises.
pitched. That's why we do these extra. That's why I hit shoulders today. You know,
Absolutely. We're exercising the demons.
You've got the front delts. You've got the latimus, dorsimus, eximus, and then you got the back.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you got the back scapula.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
It's good to know
What about
these
the
things.
rhomboid?
Oh, yeah. You got the rhomboid, you got the rhombus, there's all kinds of stuff.
Roomba. Oh,
Roomba.
All kinds of fun stuff, Jamie. I mean, we could really spend some time talking about, the body parts.
you hit the
and stuff.
shoulders today?
I did.
I hit the guns today.
Yeah, I hit the guns yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah.
Always fun.
How you feeling?
I feel great.
Get that swell going
Oh, yeah.
on. Yeah.
Walking around like, you're He-Man. Yeah.
I could see you went with the Synergy hockey shirt, which is nice form-fitting. It fits perfectly around
It's aerodynamically designed to my specifications.
Nice.
And therefore, even my employees, they get T-shirts that are designed to my specifications. So they need to look like me.
Sure.
Ish.
Yeah, there's no conceited aspect to that
What are you
statement.
talking
huh?
about?
It's my company.
It's my house. It's my rules.
So if Jamie's He-Man, who would be like Skeletor?
I don't know. One of his rivals at the gym.
Maybe.
I don't know if I have a rival at the gym.
You do. You just don't know it yet.
That's possible. It's possible.
Some guy is giving you the death stare daily.
I
They think you spend too much time maybe by the dumbbell rack, or you occupy a certain machine.
I'm probably too intense for them. And I don't mean like I'm not like that gym weirdo who throws crap everywhere.
Yelling.
No, I don't do that. And I don't slam the weights. If you can't handle the weight, don't do it.
Don't do it,
That's
yeah.
always my motto. But I'm intense. Like I go. Like I don't have time to screw around.
Yeah.
I work out. I do my set. I usually try to superset if there's not a whole bunch of people there. If there is, then I'll find a dumbbell and bring that over to whatever machine I'm using. I'll superset that way, all in one area. But then when I'm done, I'm on to the next one. Like, don't get in my way. I've got stuff to do here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe they don't like that about me. I don't know.
You totally have a gym rival for sure.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Yeah, easily. Yep.
All right, now we got to find him.
It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN.
Or her. Who knows? Maybe she hates me.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, she doesn't go to that gym.
Blues bit. Do you guys want to do some blues bits, or should we talk about Tyler O'Neill? Your call, Jamie.
Listen.
You want to save T-Bone?
Speaking of muscles and working out,
Yeah.
I want to talk Tyler O'Neill next because, my gosh, not great.
Jamie's got some thoughts on old Ton. That's next on 101 ESPN.
Jamie Rivers back with you here. I want to talk to you about Tracy Bibb and the Bibb Agency. If you're looking to save money on your car or your home insurance, Allstate and the Bibb Agency have some of the most competitive rates out there. And with Allstate and Tracy Bibb, you also get that personal attention from your agent. Most of you, as I was before, never even knew who my agent was. Be a 1-800 number, get somebody different every single time, and you just don't feel like you're getting that personal customer service that you deserve, especially with some of these insurance things. It can be scary, it can be confusing, it can be frustrating, all those things. Take that out of the equation. Call Tracy Bibb, the Bibb Agency, get a free non-committal quote, and they are going to treat you like family. You get somebody that you know all the time, and they're there to help you. They're there to educate you. They're there to make sure you get the right coverage, and they're going to fight for the best price for you. So again, pick up that phone and call 314-328-4260. That's 314-328-4260. It's no fib. You're in good hands with Tracy Bibb.
last two games now, Tyler O'Neill has been scratched. First time it was a quote-unquote tight knee. A tight left knee. Then he's back in the lineup yesterday, only to be scratched like an hour later. Didn't feel good about the tight left knee, apparently. So he was scratched again. Jamie, you were not on the show yesterday. Danny Mac filled in for you. And you didn't have an opportunity to talk about Tyler O'Neill. So when you came in today, you were real passionate about things and Tyler O'Neill. What got you fired up about Ton?
Well, where do I begin? It's frustrating for me as a former professional athlete to see somebody with so much potential, so much skill. Like, we've seen it. Tyler O'Neill, at his best, is literally one of the best in all of Major League Baseball. But that's where it ends for me. You have to want it. You have to want it, man. You have to want the game more than anything else in the world. I don't mean all the time. When you're at the baseball field, when you're at the hockey rink or at the football field, when you get there, like, that's all that matters to you. And you'll do anything that it possibly takes to get onto that field and win and contribute and be a part of it. This guy doesn't want it. He doesn't want it. He doesn't. He wants to play. I don't know this for sure. My opinion of this is he wants to play on an average to below average team, call his shots, DH when he wants, play when he wants, try hard when he wants. He's got enough ability to keep getting those, $8 to $10 million contracts for the next little bit and just ride it out. He's not hungry. He's not hungry. He's just not. I mean, I pulled this up yesterday and I couldn't believe it. And this is starting in 2018. I'm just going to go in a row here. 2018 to 2 days ago, 2023. And these are the injuries for Tyler O'Neill.
Oh, boy.
Left hamstring, wrist, undisclosed, right groin, finger, allergies, back, shoulder, hamstring, leg, neck, hamstring, back, knee.
No scapula?
No, not in this one.
Okay.
Anthony, that's a ridiculous list of injuries that he's gone through. And what bothers me is, like, allergies. Let me tell you something. I told this story yesterday to somebody because they're talking about, it was a lawyer. He talked about one time having, like, food poisoning. And when you're up for trial, you're up for trial. You can't just say, I got to take this day off. I told a story about when I played here for the Blues. We had an ESPN afternoon game, which was a big deal back then. This was before everybody covered hockey. It was like a big game of the week. I had the stomach flu. Didn't tell anybody. Told the trainer, and I told the equipment guy. And I was like yakking. Maybe it was food poisoning, whatever it is. It was yakking before the game, go get ready again. I had the equipment guy have a trash can next to the bench. And when I came off the ice, I would hide over and throw up in the trash can and then keep playing. Steve Levy, everybody knows Steve Levy, he came down after Barry Melrose was on the crew. And they're like, hey, were you being sick? I'm like, yeah. He's like, yeah, we kind of picked it up, but we couldn't really tell. And I was like, yeah. And they're like, didn't you just play it? I'm like, yeah. If I don't play, like, somebody else can take my job.
Right.
And so it's so frustrating to see someone like Tyler O'Neill with all of this ability decline. Knee's a little tender out here on the turf. I would give anything to be able to play again. One game. Never mind to have a career like Tyler O'Neill's where a ton of it is lying ahead of him. Let's just stay internally. Let's talk about culture. The Cardinals want to fix this team. You got to clean up stuff like that.
Yeah.
Get rid of the debris. Guy like Brendan Donovan, who's doing everything he can possibly do to stay in the lineup to help this team. Can't even throw a baseball at all, but he's DHing and he's doing everything he can. That guy's on my team. That guy's on my team. I know Arenado and Goldie play through crap all the time. Yeah. They're definitely on my team. I know Tommy Edman battles through things. Everybody seems to be battling through things except for a couple of guys who are, I'm not sure, feel a little stiff today. You know what? Great. Go home. Go home. I know that doesn't help the Cardinals because they're trying to get trade value for this guy. At some point, the value is moving on from the player.
Yeah.
At some point, it's more beneficial to your team to not worry about what you get in return, but make sure that that player is no longer on your roster.
Yeah.
Because what's the message that you're sending to the rest of the clubhouse that if today Tyler O'Neill feels like he's okay, he steps in and he plays left field. What are you telling Alec Burleson? What are you telling Lars Nootbaar, Dylan Carlson?
Yeah.
You're telling them it doesn't really matter what you do at all. Because if Tyler O'Neill says he's going to play, he's going to play. And we're just going to let him play. Forget that. There'd be no way in hell that would happen in my clubhouse. I would tell him, get comfortable. You're there until I need you. But I'm healthy. That's great. Stay healthy. Over there on the bench.
Yep.
And you better be at batting practice tomorrow. And then when you're not batting practice, you're out in the outfield shagging. Willie McGee's got you over there. All right? And when I need you, I'll come get you.
Yeah.
Send a message the right way. So it drives me absolutely berserk when a player with that much ability chooses not to play just because just don't quite feel right. Anthony, I've told you this before. The last 5 years of my career, I never once went in the training room. So much so that coaches were like, this guy like RoboCop? Like, never get hurt? Every day I'd leave and I'd go to my own private therapist, sports rehab guy or chiropractor guy here locally, couple you know who you are. And they'd take care of me and ice down and take care of my injuries. And I got to the rink and I was never injured. So the coaches always thought, this guy's always available. Meanwhile, I'm playing through broken bones. I'm playing through torn muscles. I'm playing through all sorts of crap.
Yeah.
But nobody knows it. Why? Because I wanted it. And I'm not the only guy who did that stuff. There's a whole lot of guys who played through so much. And yet you have this guy with this talent not even trying. Cardinals, do yourself a favor. Just move on.
When you say things like this, Jamie, and illustrate things the way you did, I do think back to things that Dunk would share with me, and he would present some things on air and some things he didn't talk about, and I won't go into complete detail, but those that knew when Dunk was struggling after the World Series, it was before he was traded for Julio Lugo. There were games where he physically would go up to the plate, and there was one instance where he swung and he had a hernia. So he had a hernia, and then that kind of started to impact everything else. So the back, his back wasn't good. His shoulder, like everything started to kind of fall apart. And he would still be in the lineup every day. And there was an at-bat, and I actually spoke with Derek Gould about this one time because Derek kind of would see in the clubhouse, him being in so much pain just to go out there and play. But he had taken a swing one time, and it literally buckled him because he was in so much pain from, the back injury or the hernia or whatever was going on. His neck, that's what it was, his neck. His neck was really bad. It buckled him right there in the box. But, and he's not being a tough guy. He's being he did not want to let down his team. He worried about his job, certainly, but he did not want to so if Tony was going to put him in the lineup, he was going to play. He was going to find a way to play. So it's kind of tough maybe Tyler O'Neill is dealing with a worse injury than we expect, that we really know. But when you have a history of injuries like you're talking about, and a history of the kind of the nixes and the bruises and things like that, and you were spoken to both in spring training and then publicly about hustle and kind of almost putting yourself in a bubble, protecting yourself.
He literally said that he's got to be careful.
Yeah.
I forget the exact words used. Tyler O'Neill literally said, I can't go 100% all the time.
Yeah, you got to be careful in Oakland then. You can't be careful here. There's certainly a degree in which you have to protect the player. Dunk probably should have been protected toward the end there. But I don't think that this is a case with that. And if he wants to play that way, that's fine. He can play that way. But he can't play that way and improve the culture here at the same time.
Anthony, he can't play for my team.
Yeah.
If I'm Ollie Marmol, he cannot play for my team. If Ollie is exactly like we think he is, and we hear great things about Ollie, whether you like his managerial skills or not all the time.
Yeah, you could question the decision making,
not the individual.
Yeah.
Okay? And this is where you just need to take a pass and be like, you know what? We'll trade him. For what? I don't care. What do you want to give me?
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
it.
Yeah, you're right. Because you have to stop worrying about the value at some point. You're right.
Yeah, because the value sitting in the stands is no value anyways.
Right.
And there's a counter value to that too. Mm-hmm. Because again, I repeat myself, when he comes back to the lineup and he gets the automatic into the lineup, that bruises the culture of your team.
Sure. And you got to be okay if the guy goes to Cleveland and hits 25 home runs. You got to make peace with that before you trade him, because you already know about the ability. You're trying to win, and you're trying to build a winning team.
You're over culture.
Yeah.
That's not winning baseball.
No.
That's part-time stuff, and I can't stand it.
It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. All right, now let's get into some Blues bits next. Actually, I'm sorry. Whoa, timeout. We got the lineup out. So we're going to get the lineup game next to 101 ESPN.
O'Neal.
ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Cards get a win last night, 6-4 over the Tampa Bay Rays. They'll be back in action tonight as Matthew Liberatore takes the mound, going up against Zach Littell. 5:40 first pitch. The lineup is out, and we are going to play the lineup game. That's coming your way next, right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and this Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff. Find new roads and shop 24/7 at londoff.com and londoffautoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
right, time to play the lineup game here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. Jamie, you didn't play the lineup game yesterday, man. You excited?
Yeah, I missed it. Not gonna lie.
Was
I
that the
missed
one?
it.
Was that the
I
one
really
thing you
missed it. Like physically, I missed it, but I also missed doing it.
Was it the one thing you missed more than anything?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, makes sense. All right. So tonight, as the Cardinals take on the Rays in the rubber match of the series. Did we ever figure out what that was? Was it the whole
What the rubber is?
Yeah, the ping pong.
I know you
or-
struggled, but but you tried hard with the Roman times thing.
I did.
We
gave
all
it-
struggled.
I
Yes.
gave it my all.
Wasn't it because the game could bounce either way?
Oh yeah, that's
rubber.
it.
The series
Yeah.
could not. Yeah. Anyways, Zach Littell is the right-hander on the hill tonight against the old Redbirds there. So, are we thinking the Newt?
Yeah, are you kidding me?
No, I'm not kidding you. Are we thinking the Newt?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Show us the Newt.
1, 2, 3, 4. I'm grinding.
Yukon Cornelius.
Oh yeah. There's gold in them there hills.
Show us Paul Goldschmidt.
Gold! Rich with gold! Gold!
No doubt it's Gorman here, right?
Well, so one day it was Arenado, one day it was Gorman. So I don't
What
know.
was he yesterday?
Yesterday I think it was
Gorman, wasn't it?
No, yesterday was Arenado, I believe.
So then who was for?
Gorman.
Oh, Ollie, you trickster.
Yeah. You slick son.
Why would you change it? It worked yesterday. But that means he changed it. Show
was
us Nolan Gorman.
There's a storm coming, Ari.
The suspense on that one, Marshall.
kidding.
My goodness.
All right. May I?
Oh, please do.
Show us Nolan Arenado.
Nolan is a security guard at the lumber yard.
That one gets me. I love that one.
Big
All right.
Willie style.
Yeah, it's got to be. I don't see why not, right?
Show us Wilson Contreras, please.
Boo.
Okay, so Kisner's catching.
Yeah, because there's right.
Yeah. So Walker here? Walker was right after Gorman yesterday, and Gorman batted fourth.
It's because O'Neill got scratched. I think O'Neill, if O'Neill's in the lineup, he's been batting ahead.
He's not going to bat here.
Okay.
Do you think?
He's been batting ahead of Walker. That's all I know, when he's actually available.
Go ahead with whatever. I don't even want to say it. I can't.
Show us Tyler O'Neill.
Ugh.
No! No! For now.
Ollie,
For now, he's
what are you doing?
in this lineup.
What are you doing?
Okay.
Especially when the wins don't matter anymore. Like when the record doesn't matter, this is where you send a message. Anyways, whatever. I
Maybe
guess,
this is the Maybe this is the message.
What?
My knees hurt. All right, well, you're in the lineup.
Maybe, you're right. Still don't like it, but whatever. I look
Okay.
at it differently, that's all. Ollie and I have philosophical differences, maybe.
All right, Jordan Walker here.
Yeah, please.
Show us Jordan Walker.
Anthony, what the heck's wrong with you?
Burleson?
Yeah,
Show us that big burly Burleson.
this is one of those lineups that All right, we gotta start getting crazy here, okay? Because the normal guys, the regular guys aren't in it. So this is probably, I think, we know Kisner's going to be in the lineup. We know, I would think that Tommy Edman is still batting ninth. So
Dylan Carlson.
yeah,
Who's our DH?
Burleson.
Probably. Okay. So who's our outfield then? We got O'Neill, Newtbar, and we need one more.
And Carlson, if we're
Is
assuming
Walker
Carlson.
here at 7?
Although Carlson has not been, they don't trust him against. They don't trust Dylan Carlson to tie his shoes, and they also don't trust Dylan Carlson at right-handed pitching. So I actually don't think Carlson's in the lineup.
Will Walker, would he be back at 7?
No, I don't think Walker's in the lineup either.
So who the hell is in the lineup?
Maybe Tommy Edman is hitting. Oh, he's gonna be short.
We need another outfielder though. So we need Carlson or Walker.
Okay. Walker. I don't think it's Carlson. I don't think he's hitting against right-handers.
All right.
They've already made up their minds. He'll never be able to hit right-handers ever again. So, Walker.
Yeah. Show us. Jordan Walker.
Nowhere near good enough.
All right. Thanks, Army. Could have done without that. Well, it's got to be Dylan Carlson, right? No? Who are we missing here right now? We got Kisner at 8, Edmund at 9. Correct?
Yeah.
So then it's got to be Carlson. Right? Yeah?
Yeah.
We got to make a decision.
I'm trying to think.
I know.
You always are like, hey, you're rushing this.
No, I just...
Hey, you're
looking at
cutting
you,
corners. Hey, you're...
It's like the log is just jammed.
I'm thinking.
My
Boy,
goodness.
oh boy.
You're allowed to blink every so often.
This is my process. If I rush it... yeah, Dylan Carlson. Show us Dylan Carlson.
Stop it.
Who are we forgetting right now?
Nobody. Unless it's Kisner.
It's Kisner at 7.
Show us Kisner.
Well, he's had a lot of pop
I'm
here
on
lately.
tilt. Show us Kisner.
I'm the captain now.
Thank you.
I'm on tilt. All right, so this Dylan Carlson now?
Yes.
Or is it Jordan
No,
Walker?
I don't think Dylan Carlson's in this lineup. It's probably like Motter.
I don't think it's Motter.
Probably Mott Sauce here.
I think it's Dylan Carlson.
I think it's Mott Sauce because the rest of this lineup has been goofy.
So Mott Sauce is going to play in the outfield.
No, Mott Sauce is going to play second. Gorman's DH. And then you've got Newt, O'Neill, Burleson in the outfield.
I think you've been drinking.
Go with your gut. Just know that I'll take it as a personal front if you don't go with Motter.
All right. On that note, show us Dylan Carlson.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
Go ahead, Mott Sauce.
Show us the Mott Sauce, please. Thank you. Thank you.
I just refused. Sorry.
Boy, that says a lot.
I know.
Show us Tommy Edman.
Tommy likey. Tommy want wingy.
Run this thing, Marsh. Run it right into the ground.
All right, leading off in center field, Lars. Taylor Tatsui Nootbaar batting second, first baseman Paul Goldschmidt batting third, second baseman Nolan Gorman. The cleanup hitter, the DH, Nolan Arenado.
He's DHing.
Batting fifth in left field, Tyler O'Neill. Batting sixth in right field, Alec Burleson. Batting seventh, the catcher, Andrew Kisner. Batting eighth, the Mott Sauce, Taylor Motter at third base. And batting ninth, the shortstop, Tommy Edman.
Back. Stay fair!
Go fair, go fair!
I don't believe what I just saw.
Home run.
I don't think anybody had Newt last night.
No, nobody jumped on the Newt.
No, even
grinder?
you had a double opportunity once again because Tyler O'Neill was out of the lineup. I believe you picked Wilson Contreras.
I did choose a Wilson, didn't I?
So, but Anthony gained ground on you, Jamie, the other day.
Yeah, his Arenado
Yeah.
cashed in.
So he's
through.
catching up.
Yeah.
But Jamie's still in the lead.
All right, Jamie, go.
Cold as hell, though, recently. Oh, you know what? Just because this is the way the world works.
You just bagged on him for 10
Yep.
minutes, so now you're going to, yeah.
Tyler O'Neill.
I don't hate it, Jamie.
Tyler O'Neill is my pick.
All right. Who you got, Marsh?
I'm looking at the matchups, and Wilson Contreras is batting 500, so it makes sense that he's not in the lineup. I'm
that's
going to go with
correct.
Paul Goldschmidt, who's batting 833
Jesus.
against Zach Littell. He's got 6 at-bats, and he has a home run as well. Wow. I'm going to go with Goldie, RL Chalk.
All right, I'm going to go with Alec Burleson, please. Alec Burleson hit a home run tonight. The first home run, in fact, the old Redbirds. So, Jamie,
Yeah.
you've got Tyler O'Neill.
Yeah.
It's kind of a spite play for you.
A little bit, yeah.
I don't hate it. Marsh, you
Well, he's
went
going to
with
get
Paul
scratched
Goldschmidt.
again soon, so I'll get
You have a
another
second
pick.
shot. Yeah, that's been my strategy the last 2 days. It worked once. Marsh, you took Paul Goldschmidt, and I took Alec Burleson. Those are home run calls. Now we'll do some Blues bits next on 101 ESPN. Blues Bits here on 101 ESPN. Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter. Marsh, what do you got?
All right, I wanted to start with the anatomy of the draft. We talked a little bit about it yesterday with our guy, Jeremy Rutherford. But, Jamie, you weren't here to discuss it, so I wanted to ask you a few questions about what you thought of the Blues short documentary that they put out about this year's past draft. So the first question I have is just how important was the inside look for Blues fans, especially coming off a down year?
Oh, I think it was massive, honestly. We talk about it all the time, and we've had the opinion this year that the Cardinals have missed several opportunities of informing the fan base of what their sense of direction is, what they want to do as a club, and where they went right, where they went wrong. The Blues got way ahead of this. Army came out halfway through the season, talked about what the plan was going to be moving forward because this was not going to be the year. Then went on to execute everything almost perfectly in chronological order as to how it was going to be. And now we see at the draft, how they prepared for it. And I don't think people understand just how much preparation goes into, building your hockey club, and the amount of people and the hours of scouting, the hours of communicating, the emails, the text messages, the videos sent back and forth. It's overwhelming at the end of it when you see just how much it is. And so it was great to get a sneak peek behind there. And I think one thing that people got to see is that there are a lot of voices in the room and they're all respected. And I do think that's a sign of a good leader. I do. Because if you're just the general that sits there and you just kind of over talk or just over opinion everybody in the room, then why are they there? But Army's done a great job of surrounding himself with people who know the game very well. A couple of Hall of Famers, in my opinion. Al McInnes, certainly Keith Tkachuk should be a Hall of Famer. Those guys are there. You got Michel Picard, who was just a role player here at the Blues, was a hell of a goal scorer back in the day, got a great eye for spotting players. Now you got Alex Steen that's in the mix, talking about some of the Swedish kids, and then he's working with the Swedish under-20 team, the World Junior team. Just a lot of things that went into it that were very fascinating. And I have been a part of one of these before, and I've seen, not the documentary, but the draft day, and seen just how busy general managers are and assistant GMs and other people. But it's great to see just the wheeling and dealing that goes on. And it comes down to relationships, because if someone wants to screw you over, or you're not a good person, or you're not a good guy to deal with, they can really mess with you on draft day. And you can tell that Army has some good relationships out there. That a couple of teams that he's like, listen, man, I'll let you know after this pick. I'll let you know after the next pick. And he calls, and it's not no big deal, no problem. Hey, we're going to make this pick. And you can tell that Dvorsky was their guy from the beginning.
Yeah.
From the beginning. They didn't think they'd get him at 10. Jan Volpat goes on to talk about how he thinks they should trade up to 7 to make sure they get him. Big Walt was a big fan of Dvorsky. And then when he ends up dropping just a little bit, he's sitting there, and the Blues like, we're making the pick. So I really enjoyed watching it, and I think it was a really good eye-opener for Blues fans to see just what goes into this.
You mentioned the wheeling and dealing and potentially moving up in the draft. I thought it was fascinating because it seemed like at the time that we were pretty sure that they would at least pick at 10, and then the 2 picks after 10, maybe they trade those. But they mentioned in Anatomy of the Draft that there was a chance that they could actually move back.
Trade back, yeah. I'd be curious to know what that deal was and what they were focused on at that point. But I think if Dvorsky, in my opinion, had he been picked, I think they were willing to drop back a few spots in order to pick up an extra pick somewhere in the draft in the first couple of rounds. There's a team that has their eye on somebody, and they will end up overpaying for that player. And if the player that you wanted is now gone and you can deal with, a couple of players later, you drop down in the draft and you can, give yourself that extra pick, it can go a long way. So again, very interesting to see the dynamic of how it works and what goes into it. But great work by the Blues staff. And we had a question here if that was Scott Mellanby at the table. Yes, Scott Mellanby was at that table. So he's another guy with a very good eye for the game and great opinions.
We get a text from the 636. Best quote out of that documentary was Big Walt talking out his 2 rules. Pass the puck to Big Walt. And number 2, don't forget rule 1.
Walt he used to tell guys that, young guys in the locker room. He'd be like, there's 2 rules around here, right? Kids would be like, okay. What are they? He's like, rule number 1, get the puck to Big Walt. And you go, rule number 2, don't forget rule number 1.
That's awesome.
It is awesome. Walt is, he's a beauty, man. He is a national treasure. I love the guy so much. He was a great teammate, a ferocious competitor. I hated playing against him, loved playing with him, and loved the guy to death.
I think it's interesting. You have these scouts that are just spread out across the entire world, and then you do get to see all of those guys come together. They went to, I believe, well, where was it? It was in Niagara Falls.
Yeah.
And they all come together and just basically just shoot the you-know-what about all of these players. I wonder just how long that process lasts until you actually find the guy that you're looking for. And like you said, Dvorsky was that guy.
Yeah, majority rules a lot in that case. And you got Peter Chiarelli, too, another great mind, won a Stanley Cup with the Boston Bruins when he was GM there. It's amazing because I haven't been in those meetings, but I've been in other meetings, and the debates get intense sometimes because when you've scouted a player and you're damn sure about this guy, and somebody else cuts your player down and says, no, I don't think he's the guy, I have him lower than that on my list. Where you're like, how? How are you not seeing X, Y, and Z? And so the banter goes back and forth, and then finally, it's not that there's mediation involved, but at one point, if you're Army, you got to look at it and go, okay, what do I think independently first? Because he has his own notes, right? Everybody independently goes in this with their own notes. And he starts to see what his notes, who matches his notes the most, and then who's making sense. Like, is somebody just high on the player because they're personally invested in it, or are they high on the player because he's truly the best player? Sometimes you get emotionally attached to a certain pick because that's your guy.
Right.
That's my guy. Like, no, I'm telling you this is the guy. Maybe he's not the guy. Maybe there's a better player, but he's still a great player. Then other times he's your guy because he just is the best one available.
There's a scene in Air Jordan. I don't know if have you guys seen that movie yet? About how Nike came to be with Michael Jordan in the shoe. And there's a scene.
Affleck in that or something?
Yeah, Ben Affleck's in that. Matt Damon. He's like the main guy.
It's an amazing movie.
So you have seen it?
I've seen it.
There's that scene where they're trying to decide which player which players they want to target to basically market their shoe. And one of the guys brings up, I forgot the name that he brought up, but Matt Damon's character was basically, pressing him. Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Why do you like him? Why is he your pick? Well, but why? What is it about his game that you like? And the guy didn't really have an opinion. He's like, well, he's just rated, like he's like ranked in one of the top guys. He's like, that's not good enough.
That's sort of how I envision these meetings going, but like ramped up to like 100% because you're trying to find that next guy that's going to end up being the player for you.
And
these
if you
guys
screw up, then
these guys' jobs are on the line. But your job's on the line.
Yeah, that's true.
If you're the guy that leans in and they say, all right, man, your call, and you're like, this is my guy, and it's a flop, that's a tough one to wear.
This is my guy, believe in him. Okay, we're going to go with him. You go to the bathroom, throw up. Oh, God. I don't know if he is my guy.
I saw this athletic article talking about foot speed, and it went over some of the history and nuggets about skating ability and just how important it is in the NHL and the modern day game. Where do you think the Blues rank, in your opinion, when it comes to the skating ability, and how will this team utilize that ability in their game?
Well, they rank pretty high now. They've gotten away from a lot of the slower foot guys. No disrespect to David Perron, Ryan O'Reilly, and the Pat Maroons, but they're not blazing down the ice. So the tempo of the game could potentially be a lot better. You got Thomas, you got Kyrie, you got a lot of young legs in your lineup. Guys can fly around out there. Certainly Verana and Kapanen, those guys can bring it too. Skating's huge, man. Yeah, honestly, Big Walt, talking about him, he talks about skating a lot of times. How important is it to be able to be a good skater? Well, the best skaters usually get to the puck first. Usually have the first opportunity to get to be open. Usually have the first opportunity to take it past the defender because they're the best skaters. You look at Connor McDavid. Yes, he has a tremendous amount of skill, but his speed is what kills you. He doesn't have to have dangles like you've never seen before. He has to just be able to get the puck around you and go. Now, he does have exceptional skills. Don't get me wrong. But if we isolated someone like Jordan Kyrou, I say it all the time, he's one step away from a breakaway every time because he's so damn fast. So And Colton Parayko is a great skater. Nick Leddy's a great skater. Didn't translate last year, but when we go back 2 years ago, those guys are moving the puck to the neutral zone like nothing, or they're breaking the puck out because they have the ability to skate it too. Cale Makar, an exceptional skater. Erik Karlsson, an exceptional skater. The list goes on and on and on of really great players, and skating is their number one attribute.
Do you think that skating ability will lead to some players thinking that they can make one or two extra moves to try and get around a defender, or will we see a guy like Jordan Kyrou maybe push the puck past the defender, try and get around him? I think Craig Berube said something like that toward the back end of last year that Jordan Kyrou needs to work on.
Yeah, a lot of players get stuck in that rut, right? Because they practice skills so much, and these kids come into the NHL with such high skill levels that they think they can do whatever they did before. When you can't. It's a pretty good league. There's a lot of really good players that play in the NHL that have seen almost everything that's been done in the game yet. So what Craig Berube's talking about is put the puck to an open space and then just outwheel somebody for it. It's kind of a primitive mindset, but it's effective. And so someone like Jordan Kyrou, instead of coming down the ice and always trying to cut through the middle of the ice, toe drag a guy under the stick, through the legs, what's wrong with coming down the wall, kind of varying your speed just for a second, chipping the puck down the wall, and then just outlegging the guy for it, and then driving to the middle of the ice? Now you've created a scoring opportunity, and if nothing else, you've created an opportunity to draw a penalty. Pushes the team back on their heels. So the next time you come up to the blue line and you're pushing the pace, maybe that guy backs off the line even more because he's respecting your speed. Now, that's when you can take the puck to the middle of the ice and get a scoring chance out of it. So that's why it's so important.
That's Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. Time to give away some Bud Bash tickets. So we have your chance right now to win a 4-pack of tickets to next Tuesday night's Budweiser Bash for Cardinals versus A's. Next week's Bud Bash game features a limited edition Gary Gaetti bobblehead. It's not funny, Jamie. It is a limited edition. It's Gary Gaetti. A lot of people want that, and I don't understand why you're laughing.
Well, thanks, Dad. It was a great text. He says the skate at camp coming much sooner than the clear at camp.
Apparently.
We do have power skating and edge work next week. A couple of spots still available. SynergyHockeySkills.com.
I mean, it's almost like you're trying to hurt me now. You know, like
Yeah, it's Centene. Home of the Blues.
I mean, I'm trying not to take it personally, Marsh, but
Well, you know what? We don't need a rink. When it gets cold out, we can go in the ODR, wherever that may be, and we'll figure it out.
Anthony, ODR, what does it mean?
Old dirty rugs.
Or outdoor rink. You're right.
Yeah, that's right. That makes more sense. All right, text in right now, 314-399-9646 to win the Budweiser Bash tickets for Cardinals versus A's. Here's your question today. Gary Gaetti, he's a part of which team's Hall of Fame? Played for several teams. Which team is he a part of their Hall of Fame? If you have the correct answer and you're the 101st texter to 314-399-9646, you're going to get those Bud Bash tickets for next Tuesday night and get all the details on this season series of Budweiser Bash games right now at Cardinals.com/promotions. We got Chris Kerber coming up in 15 minutes, but Marsh found an interesting article that talked about the teams right now in Major League Baseball, whether or not they have improved in certain areas and whether or not they've got worse in certain areas from a year ago. And the results are kind of staggering across the board. We'll tell you what we found next on 101 ESPN. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN 302. Your time check is brought to you by Collection Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler with Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter, and Marsh found this Twitter post that Jay Kuda put on Twitter, and Jay does a lot of things for StatHead, and he writes specifically about the White Sox. But in this case, he put together a graphic with every Major League Baseball team, and he separated them by certain categories: win-loss percentage, batting average, on-base percentage, slugging, ERA, FIP, which is fielding independent percentage, which is a more accurate assessment of how a pitcher is pitching as opposed to ERA, and then WHIP. Those are the categories that he used. And he kept it simple. And this is something that while look, we're on radio, so it'd be easier if you saw the graphic, and maybe we'll tweet this out. But it's pretty basic by the way he does this, Jamie. Did you improve in that category this year, or did you get worse? Almost across the board, teams got better from a slugging percentage standpoint. The majority of the teams got better when it comes to batting average and on-base percentage. Most teams got worse in ERA and FIP. So, in other words, most teams got worse from a pitching standpoint, and most teams got better from an offensive standpoint. This is not unlike the Cardinals. Their win-loss percentage, obviously worse than a year ago. Their batting average, their on-base percentage, and their slugging percentage better. The pitching categories, and again, no surprise, ERA, FIP, and WHIP, all down.
FIP and WHIP took a beating across the entire
the league.
It's crazy.
And look, I mean, if batting average is up for most teams, then ERA is likely to be worse than most teams. I don't feel that offense is necessarily up, but maybe it doesn't feel that way because I don't feel like it's the home run barrage. But I think what we've seen here is they've banned the shift. The ball is being put in play more. So people that have been upset about the way the game has gone to the three true outcomes of home run, strikeout, or walk, they should. I would imagine this is a better game for them. Again, the ball's being put in play more. Ball's finding more holes because the shift. You're not being able to shift to crazy formations where it's like we know exactly where you're going to hit it. We're going to have three guys standing there.
Yeah.
So the game overall, I think, has probably gotten better for everybody. But I'm still shocked that league-wide ERA has dropped or has risen for most teams. FIP has risen for most teams. WHIP has risen for most teams. So the question is, and Marshall, I'm going to let you kind of illustrate this, as it relates to the Cardinals. You kind of looked at this graph and you spun to Jamie and I. You turned to us and you go, "This is concerning to me for one specific reason for the Cardinals."
Well, I just wonder if they look at this list and they're thinking, all these other teams, all the pitching statistics are going down. Maybe this is just a one-off.
Yeah, you were like, "Hey, you know what? They're all bad.
They're all bad.
Year.
Look at the Braves. They're bad, too.
We're doing it right. We just have to stay the course."
Could be a one-off.
That has been one of my biggest concerns about the Cardinals since we knew this season was lost. And it is well before the trade deadline, guys. And I have said as much. And I've tried to state over and over my thoughts on this. This is not a one-off. You cannot look at this year and say, "Hey,
run it back.
We've been fine, guys. We've been making the postseason. This is an aberration." No, you haven't drafted and acquired talent good enough at when it comes to pitching, and the wheels fell off. This, to me, nothing just happens in one season. This is a culmination of what you haven't been doing over the last 4 or 5 years. And it's not just a starting pitching thing. Because early on, we're like, look, the starting pitching, it stinks. Look at the ERA. Look at any advanced metric you want. Starting pitching has cost this team. And it did. But what happened, Jamie, when this team started to blow games?
Oh, no, the starting pitching passed the baton onto the bullpen.
Starting pitching's fine. It's that damn bullpen. And then we start to have the conversation. Well, in April, when everybody was going 3 1/3, gassed your bullpen. Then you had the other crowd. Look at the defensive run saved. They stink defensively. All is true. Every single category. Yeah. Run prevention, Jamie. The Cardinals have been awful from a run prevention standpoint. It's not just starting pitching. It's not just the bullpen. It's not just defense. It is not an or. It's an and. Starting pitching and the bullpen and the defense. It is a run prevention problem this season. And other teams have been able to mitigate that either by having good offense or maybe having one or two guys that can pitch well or maybe having kind of a rough starting staff, but the bullpen hasn't imploded, or maybe the defense has just been outstanding for certain teams. Other teams have been able to navigate the waters. The Cardinals have not.
No, they're not alone on that island, but you can't worry about some of these other teams. You have to get back to what makes you successful.
Right.
And that goes back to just several different things that in sports in general is you don't overreact to a trade or a signing that someone in your division makes.
Yes.
You don't overreact to what's trending for certain other teams. Mm-hmm. The copycat league of, well, that team won it last year. What did they have? We have to do that.
That exact thing.
It usually doesn't work that way. So what do the Cardinals pride themselves on recently? Good defense, run prevention. Pitch to contact in a pitcher's park, but great defense to support it. The shift, banning the shift has played a part in it for sure. But when a ball's hit straight to a guy and he kicks it, boots it, throws it away, makes the wrong play, hits the wrong cutoff guy, overruns it, that has nothing to do with the shift. Mm-hmm. Nothing at all. So they got to tighten up defensively. And yeah, it's not great to have the ERA, the FIP, and the WHIP all going down from last year. But you look at teams that have improved, teams that have surprised you. Look at the Chicago Cubs on this one here. They've gone up in every single category except for ERA.
Yeah.
You're looking at it like, how did that happen? Mm-hmm. How the hell did the Cubs do this? They're supposed to be bad. What happened here? Why did that not go the way we thought? I don't know. Maybe they figured out who they needed and identified exactly, what type of pitcher or player that they wanted. Cardinals got to do the same thing. I don't think, contrary to Marshy's opinion here, and I understand Marshy's concern 100% that, well, look, everybody's crappy at this. We don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
I understand that thought process because we worry about the Cardinals being that way. I don't think they will be. I don't. I'm going to go back to something I've said several times. This was a slap in the face to Mo. This is the very first time he's put a team on the field and they have stunk. Mm-hmm. Now, they've missed the playoffs before. That's happened. But this team is stunk. It's not good. Last place in arguably the worst second worst this year, division in baseball. Something has to give. Mo's going to go out there. He's already talked a good game. He did what he said he would do at the deadline. He got rid of expiring contracts and went and acquired a whole ton of pitching.
It's step one.
Step one, pitching. Took care of it. Now he needs to go get that number one or top of the rotation guy, whoever that may be, and he's got to find another arm for the rotation. And that's not all he has to do. Go sign another guy, too. Figure it out down the road. But that's your number one problem is you need starting pitchers and you need bullpen arms. Mm-hmm. So if some of your young guys come spring training are pitching okay, pitching pretty good, but they're not really competing for a rotation spot, maybe they're a bullpen arm. Screw the process of play it out for another year. No, come bring them up. You're going to play your first season in the majors as a bullpen arm.
Yeah.
And we'll work on in the offseason again, getting you back into a starter's role. If you're going to be that guy.
Sure.
You need the best pitchers possible in your rotation or on your pitching staff next year. And if that's the case, if that truly was the problem, you will see a different team. Mm-hmm. I think you will anyways. But if John Mozeliak and the Cardinals don't get it right in the pitching category, this will just be rinse repeat.
Absolutely. Hey, prove us wrong. Prove us wrong on something. Text in right now, 314-399-9646, or if you want to do it via the YouTube chat channel there, at 101 ESPN STL. Prove us wrong. It's actually proved me wrong. But you're going to text in something, and if you feel as though that you have a strong take on something, Jamie and I will be put into the category of like defense attorney, and we're going to try to prove you wrong on something. So we're kind of have some fun, and we're going to do this in a couple of segments. So send it in 314-399-9646. What's your take? And just add a prove me wrong at the end there, and Jamie and I will do our best. We're not very bright, so you'll probably be able to succeed pretty well in this, but we're going to give it a go anyways. We do have Chris Kerber up next. Talk a little Blues hockey here on 101 ESPN. Gasland on 101 ESPN with Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stelter. Let's head to our celebrity line. We have our guy, Chris Kerber, the voice of the Blues, right here on the home of the Blues, 101 ESPN. What's up, Kerbs?
Anthony, I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. Doing real good, Kerbs. I would love to hear your thoughts on the anatomy of a draft. I'm sure you shared it with other shows, but we haven't had you on yet since it was released. A lot of great nuggets. What was the one thing that really stuck out to you that was interesting? Stuck out.
Well, I think, and this is something that I've known about Doug Armstrong for a while, but to see it in action in this show, I thought was fantastic. But he really trusts his staff. You know, like, you cannot be successful in the National Hockey League without a good, strong staff. And you know, I look at what Kevin Adams, who I've known for a long time, you know, since he was a player at college while I was at Miami and stuff, and grown into, you know, from a Stanley Cup champion to a general manager in Buffalo. And what the Sabres, you know, ownership was asking Kevin to do with such a small staff is the same thing that a lot of these other teams are doing with larger staffs. And just having a big staff doesn't do it, but it's listening to that staff. It's trusting that staff. Are you guys okay if we do this? Yep. Okay, let's go with it. And I mean, you've got to have guys that have been around you for a long time. And Doug has with this staff to build that trust. And that's one of the great things that stood out to me. And then the other thing, frankly, that really jumped off the page was everybody did their homework in that room. And it was pretty clear that if they could get Dvorsky at 10, everybody was on board with that's a spectacular start to the draft. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, Curves, I agree 100%. And, you know, you talk about Army and trusting his staff. I think part of the reason he's able to do that is because he's got the right staff. You look around that room at some of the hockey minds that Army has here working for the Blues. Of course, Al McInnes, Keith Tkachuk, Scott Mellenby. Those are, you know, dead ringers for guys that are, you know, educated hockey guys. But then you look at the guy like Jan Volpat, Peter Chiarelli is there, Janelle is there, Danny Janelle is there. Like, so many guys that have put so much time in. And now the addition of Alexander Steen, who we found out in the video, he's been working with the World Junior Team Sweden. So obviously a pipeline there, and maybe why we saw a few Swedish guys picked. But again, I feel like it's the right staff too.
Jamie, when you put your hockey management staff together, what has become a critical piece is somebody like Alexander Steen. Now, in this case, Alexander's got a rollover in Europe, but teams are bringing on retired players. Chris Thorburn is another maybe terrific example who's now been with the team for several years since the Stanley Cup run in management side. Bringing guys in that are recent to the game. So when you're trying to make a trade at the deadline, or you're deciding, hey, do we claim, you know, somebody off waivers? Do we claim a Kapanen off waivers? Do we make a trade for Vrana and stuff? Like, we have opinions, and everybody has opinions, and scouts have opinions. But there's no better opinion in most cases than a player. And, like, a player looks at you and says, that guy's a phony on the ice. Yeah, he plays hard, it looks like that. But watch, every time he goes into the corner, you know, you don't see him, or that kind of thing. Having a recently retired, fairly recently, you know, on the ice person in your management staff is just valuable knowledge that just doesn't come once you've been out of the game for 5-10 years. So that's an important one. And then, guys, he takes care of his people. He trusts them. When you've got a Dave Taylor, when you've got a Tim Taylor, when, you know, Peter Chiarelli now on year 3 or 4, the Tim Taylor's been with the team now for a decade. Same with the longevity is a big part of this. And that's one of the reasons I think Blues fans feel real comfortable with where this team is rebuilding towards, because so far their staff has proven to be pretty doggone good.
Curbs, just out of curiosity, how many glasses of really good bourbon did it take to get Army to agree to the filming of all this? Because Army's a pretty private guy.
Listen, I lost track at about year 5 of trying to convince this stuff. I had a great discussion with Doug middle of last season. We were talking about a bunch of different stuff on the road. It was a great discussion. And one of the, you know, Doug's got a really good feel for this organization in terms of what's needed too. He doesn't just care. Like, yes, his ultimate job is care about the hockey ops side, but he feels that he has stuff to add on the business side too. Now, he's very protective. You could tell, there weren't other teams' players talked about in that footage, and there's a reason for that. So he's protective. He might not be as progressive as some teams are when it comes to that. But I think, honestly, when we talk about the evolution of a leader, the evolution of a general manager, Doug's come to the understanding of how important a role those types of things are to the fan base, especially if you're going to go into a year where you're not considering yourself like, one of the top 5 Cup contenders. That engagement is important. And so it's not one thing, Jamie, that has convinced Doug to do it, but it's the trust that he's built with Trevor Nickerson running that department, with Mike Caruso, with our PR department, with the way Steve Chapman has done things, the understanding on the business side of Chris Zimmerman, and the whole role that this plays. Because the revenue that is coming in because of the sponsorship side, the digital side, those kind of things, that's a big reason why Doug Armstrong has been able to spend up to the salary cap every single year. And Doug clearly understands that, and he wants to be a part of it, but he also is very protective at the same time of making sure that the wrong thing is not out there.
Yeah, obviously, one hand washes the other. You have a good hockey team, it's easier to sell that team. You sell that team, you're able to ice a good hockey team. So those two departments absolutely have to work together. Another place, though, that does a lot of great things, Curbs, and I know you frequent there and I frequent there, and a lot of people have, is O.B. Clark's. And I know that they have a great event going on tonight, and one that I personally support as a father of a type 1 diabetic child. I know that there are a lot of obstacles out there and a lot of resources that are needed for these individuals. But tell us a little bit about what they got going on at O.B. Clark's tonight.
Yeah, I'll be out there for a little bit this evening with the family, Jamie. And it is a family event, too, so come on by. Order a pizza, order a beer. They've got specials on food and drinks and sodas for the kids, too. But, Joe O'Brien, his son Joey, was diagnosed with diabetes as a kid. So, and we saw when BJ Crombeen was here, he was very public about what he dealt with dealing with juvenile diabetes. And so they do this fundraiser every single year, and it's really one of the great ones. It's low key. It's put on by just by just friends over there at the bar, and so they line the one side with some great memorabilia, some different products. Donated from Anheuser-Busch or O'Fallon Brewery. And like today, I dropped off a poster of Alexander Steen scoring that wraparound goal back in the 13 playoffs, or a Gary Unger autograph poster, a Brandon Saad autograph stick. There's all those different things, and you just buy some raffle tickets, put them in there. There's some silent auctions to bid. But then you just have a great social evening. And it's from 6 to 9 tonight at O.B. Clark's right there in Brentwood. I invite everybody, come on by, say hello. Like I said, I'll be there for a little while. From like 6 to my daughter's going to Louisville tomorrow, so we have a family dinner after that. So but we'll be there and supporting it, and I hope we get some fans out there. Just come on by and grab a beer and help us raise some money for these guys. Plus, the guys, Jim and Joe O'Brien and the family with that bar, they're so huge in the community and everything they do. So when they do something like this, we want to make sure we support them right back.
That's great, Curbs. Absolutely. Your daughter's going to be a Cardinal?
She has decided. So emotions are high in the house right now as we take our first to college. Yep, she's going to be a Louisville Cardinal as of Saturday.
Good for you guys. That's fantastic. Do you know what she's going to be studying yet?
She wants to get into criminal justice.
Good for her. Excellent.
Yeah, which is great because I need to know how to get out of a few things later.
Yeah. That's absolutely no kidding. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Was that on the air?
No, you're fine.
No, you're good.
We dumped it, Curbs. Don't worry about it.
It's all good. We'll just add to it. Jamie and I need plenty of legal advice. So
that's for sure.
But you guys I guess Notre Dame is coming down to play Louisville later on. We got a home game that night, so unfortunately I can't make it down there. But I'm looking forward to her getting the next part of her life going. It's we get to do these things like Jamie, travel with the team and all these great things, and you miss so much stuff. But it's amazing how fast time with our kids flies, man. It just goes fast, it seems.
It sure does. One thing I do know, I was just down in Louisville not too long ago, Curbs. You will like, checking out a couple of the local distilleries there. They got some good stuff going on there. So that'll be fun for you.
Okay, real quick. She went down in May for we went down in April for the tour, right?
Yeah.
And it was just like us and this one other mom and her son, and the tour was going a little bit long. And I'm like, Grace, we got to get out of here by 4 because we can get down to that distillery by 5, and I got a bottle I want to pick up. So we made it, but yep, we've had some of the bourbons down there. It's going to be great. The campus right next to Churchill Downs, and the school's done a great job growing their student base from the St. Louis area too. So looking forward to it. It's exciting times, as you guys know, and we'll take it in stride.
There you go. Yeah. Well, good for you guys. Congratulations, and have a great time tonight. That's an excellent event that you guys are doing at Obie Clark. So, Curbs, thank you as always. Have a good rest of your week and a great weekend.
All right, have an awesome weekend, you guys. Thanks for talking up the event tonight. We'll
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Thanks, Curbs. We'll see you. That's Chris Kerber, voice of the Blues, right here on 101 ESPN. Jamie, I know that is an event, any event that talks about diabetes is near and dear to your heart with your daughter McKinnon, and I see what just what you go through with McKinnon. I'm sure it's just a lot, but Jamie, you're constantly checking your phone to make sure her levels are okay. And
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to step out to make sure that your monitor's going off, and I can't imagine. That's a lot.
It's tough, man. It's tough. I mean, every day that it's the blood sugars are going up, you got to bring them down. They're going down too far, you got to bring them up. And she's an athlete, plays competitive soccer, so you have to figure out where her levels need to be so she can go into the game and not bottom out. And then, activity usually hits later in the day. So if she had a long practice or a grueling tournament, then you go at night and you're trying to give her insulin because you're like, oh, levels are a little high. You got to factor in there's going to be a drop-off automatically in the system. So then now she's bottoming out, and then you're up all night trying to keep the blood sugars high or keep them low. It's tedious. It's a lot going on there. But the technology, I will say this, has improved tremendously. Very fortunate to have some of the great devices and apps that we have nowadays. And she's a trooper, man. She doesn't ever stop. Nothing keeps her down. She's kicking the world's ass one day at a time.
That's awesome. Let's get a little Rivers in her then.
Oh, boy. Too much sometimes.
That's Jamie. I'm Anthony. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. We got Prove Me Wrong next.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Cards get a win yesterday over the Tampa Bay Rays. Final score 6-4. They're back in action tonight. Matthew Liberatore on the mound going up against Zach Littell. 5:40 first pitch. We just talked with Chris Kerber, voice of the Blues, right here on the Blues Radio Network. If you missed that interview or any of our conversations from today's show, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the 101 mobile app. You can find the full show there along with all of our interviews. It's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. This Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Prove me wrong, kids. Prove me wrong.
All right, let's do Prove Me Wrong here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter. Andrew Marsh has compiled some of your Prove Me Wrong statements, and as I quote Andrew Marsh heading into that break, he goes, "Boy, our listeners really came through. They brought the heat on this one." So what we're going to do is Marsh is going to make the statement, and we haven't heard him, so it's not like we've been able to kind of plan our counterattack here. But Jamie and I are essentially going to be the defense lawyers. We're gonna try to disprove your theory as the prosecutors, and we'll go from there. Marsh, maybe you could be the judge.
All right. Are we ready?
I don't like your confidence in this. I don't like
PTSD right now.
Jamie, you're gonna be fine. You're gonna be great.
I mean, I'm well versed.
You're gonna be great.
Oh, my goodness.
All right, Marsh.
All right, let's start it off.
Objection.
All right, overruled.
Sustained.
What? Which one is it?
I don't know. I don't know anything about being in the court of law.
Good.
Keep it that way, son.
Yeah.
All right, let's start from the YouTube page. We have Billy says, "Prove me wrong. Jordan Binnington does not have what it takes to be an elite goaltender for an entire season. He has shown flashes at time, but can't keep it up for a full 82.
Get him, Jamie.
Well, keeping it up can be difficult sometimes, but Medicine Shop in St. Charles, sildenafil for less than $2 a pill. All right, now as far as Jordan Binnington is concerned, I think everybody in the NHL forgets about his season following 2019, which, by the way, was an epic run that got him a Stanley Cup ring. And you probably own some Blues paraphernalia that says Stanley Cup champions on it. You should say thank you, Jordan Binnington, because without him, you don't have that. So never mind the full season. It's about showing up when it matters the most. But the following season after 2019, Jordan Binnington was on a tear. A tear before they went into the bubble. Was one of the wins leaders in all of the NHL, was playing fantastic. Then, of course, the bubble happened, COVID, all that craziness went down, and things were squirrely a little bit. He's battled some small injuries from time to time, and he's also battled a bigger one when Nazem Kadri did what he did. But I would argue, based upon last year, if you put a good team, if you put Jordan Binnington on, let's say, the Florida Panthers last year, or another team that is a 7th or 6th place team anywhere, you put him on the Toronto Maple Leafs. Let's pick that team. If you put Jordan Binnington on the Toronto Maple Leafs, they probably would have went to the Stanley Cup final. That's how good he can be. So now, do we need to see more consistency? Yeah, but that's the whole team, too. Your goaltender can't stop a puck that's passed to a guy wide open behind him with no coverage. That's not his fault. And there are so many of those that happened last year. So I just push back and say that you need to look at Jordan Binnington when he's been able to put together a nice string of games with a team that defends properly at the same time. Doesn't have to be all-star defense here, but a good, solid defensive scheme, a good team defensively will let your goaltender do what he's supposed to do, which is make the first save and then make the odd YouTube highlight reel save to save your bacon. And Jordan Binnington's no stranger to doing that.
From the 636, this is a fun one. Mizzou will win 8 or more games this year. Prove me wrong.
Let's just pull up Mizzou's schedule, shall we? 8 or more games?
8 or more games.
All right, Missouri football schedule 2023. All right. So let's go through the schedule, Jamie. Let's just do that first before we actually break down their team.
It's a good idea.
South Dakota should be a win. Middle Tennessee should be a win. Sorry, Brooke. Brooke Grimsley went to Middle Tennessee State. She's pissed right now. Sorry about that. I hope you're listening, but I hope you just missed that part. So, should be a win on that one. Kansas State. Could be. They're at home. Early game. Kansas State, usually no pushover, but certainly a winnable game. Memphis, winnable game. Vanderbilt, definitely a winnable game. So there's 5 wins potentially right out of the gates. Then you actually play teams. You got LSU at Kentucky, which has never been an easy spot for Mizzou to play. South Carolina comes to Columbia. You're in between the hedges this year. Georgia's not coming to you. They're not going to take you lightly. Tennessee's got a good team this year. Florida's going to have a good team, and then Arkansas. So you got 5 wins maybe out of the gate. Let's say we give you the South Carolina. Say you split between Kentucky and South Carolina, you get the 6. Even if you beat Arkansas, you're at 7. Are you going to beat Florida or Tennessee or Georgia to get over that 8, or LSU to get over that 8?
Probably.
That's going to be tough.
Probably both of them.
Your offensive line stunk last year. Couldn't protect the quarterback. Eli Drinkwitz and his coaching staff forgot that they had Luther Burden on their roster at times last year. I think your defense is good, but it's undersized compared to some of these other teams. LSU's got a massive offensive line. Tennessee's got a massive offensive line. I think part of the athleticism for Mizzou defensively can be negated by teams that are physical. I don't think you get over 8 wins this year, or 2-8. I don't like how they line up.
I agree.
And is you're going to get better quarterback production. I probably could have just started there and ended there, but continue.
From the 636, the
Takes
Cards.
my heart to say that too, because I hope Mizzou does well. I do. I hope they do well.
I mean, Jamie paid money to that institution. You should hope
I paid a lot of money to that institution.
They get to 8 wins.
I need a damn quarterback.
From the 636, the Cards should have been a sub-500 team the last 3 years, and each season, some random anomaly saves them. Pujols' run, 17-game winning streak, COVID, prove me wrong.
The NL Central stunk, though. The NL Central was weak. You had teams. You had one team trying every year. It was Milwaukee, aside from the Cardinals. You had one team trying. That was it. Pittsburgh has not been trying. Cincinnati, up until this year, have not been trying. I don't even think Cincinnati was trying this year. They're just like, hey, you know what? Let's bring up some of the young guys. Oh, crap. The young guys could play.
Oh, they tried to send them back down.
Yeah, right, exactly. So Cincinnati hasn't been trying up until this point. The Cubs were clearly going through, we all thought it was going to be a rebuild. It turns out it was a retool, but they were getting rid of pieces constantly. So yes, you did have some weird stuff. You know, the winning streak the one year. You know, Pujols but Pujols did play for them. So it's not like you have to you can completely discredit what Pujols did. He was part of the team last year. Plus Goldschmidt won an MVP. So the team was good enough, plus your division stunk. This year, the division's a lot better. You got 3 teams that are trying.
And you stink.
And you stink. As well as the Pirates. That's a good one, though. I like that one. I don't know if we won that
solid one.
That was solid.
From the 314, another good one. Lamar Jackson will be the best quarterback in football this year since the Ravens finally decided to put weapons around him. Prove me wrong.
They know I like Lamar.
He's injury prone.
They know I like the OC. He's finally got an OC. They're using my argument against me.
Jamie.
All right, so here's my take on it.
Please.
Okay? Lamar Jackson, 1, he's no stranger to the trainer's table and the IL for the Baltimore Ravens. 2 is we all blame the offensive coordinator. Oh, he didn't have enough plays. Maybe that's all Lamar can digest. Maybe if you throw a big playbook at Lamar, it's going to blow up in your face because it's going to be way too many options.
Go the injury.
And the problem with having so many weapons around you is they're all hungry all the time. And all of these wide receivers are like 7-Eleven. They're open all the time, right? Well, you're not. And so Lamar's going to have to make some pretty tough choices. Oh, and I don't know, in a split second when these guys are looking to mangle him and he's worried about getting injured again, I just don't know about this Ravens team. So Lamar Jackson, for me, still a huge question mark going into next season.
It hurt my heart a lot. What I would say is, and I'm just going to be real simple on this.
Here we go.
Patrick Mahomes.
There you go.
Yeah.
From the 636.
Mahomes.
The 636. Prove me wrong. The front office, the fan base, and you guys, I'm looking at you two, as analysts consistently fail to analyze players properly because you place more value on ideas, like a player being a former top 100 prospect or a switch hitter or a good clubhouse guy, than the statistical value they actually provide on the field. For example, how many times do we have to hear about Carlson's potential, how he's a switch hitter, how he hasn't gotten opportunities, blah, 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 while Newt has done nothing but produce from day one, and yet he's constantly doubted and thrown into trade packages.
That right there would be called a straw man argument. Nobody has doubted Newt. Nobody has said that he couldn't do it. We talked about his great offseason or his great second half last year. We talked about how he was the only one that you can count on heading into this year from an outfield standpoint. Newt was the only one we said we feel good about in the outfield heading into this year. He's the only guarantee. So this idea that we hype up Dylan Carlson's potential and crush Lars Nootbaar is a complete straw man argument on that. I think the problem that is not being discussed is how do you properly evaluate talent? We could throw out ideas. We can say, hey, here's his statistics. But is he a good clubhouse guy? That does matter. Is he going to play? Is he going to play? With a boo-boo on the knee or not? Because if not, that impacts the team, which is what Jamie has talked about. It's not just about splits. It's not just about the analytics. So a lot of people yell at us. I think it is a whole package. But this idea that we have crushed Newt is just it's factually wrong. And that's an agenda right there.
Wow.
It's a total agenda.
Wow.
Straw man fallacy.
Let's do one more here. And we have a ton. So
Patrick
Mahomes.
We have a ton here, so maybe we get back into this later in the show. Again, thank you for everyone that texted in. But last one here, a funny one from 636. Prove me wrong. Dave Matthews Band should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
You son of a.
Well, actually,
you son of a.
Am I supposed to prove them wrong that they shouldn't be or should be?
So at the back end of this text, it says Stalter has to be the defense.
Okay.
Wait, they should be? They should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Is that what you're saying?
Should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and you have to be the defense.
Or shouldn't be. Read that again.
Prove me wrong. Dave Matthews Band should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Oh, yeah, this is an easy one. I mean, when you have 42 musical instruments up on the damn stage at one time, and they're all trying to play, and then you've got basically what sounds like a donkey leaning into the microphone, it's not a band,
No, you have to be the defense.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I asked you a couple of times.
You
They
have to
should be.
You have to defend why they should be. You have to tell us why the Dave Matthews Band needs to be.
He said should be in, and I'm trying to prove him he's wrong.
Want.
So Jamie is going to prove him wrong, and you're going to end up having to defend
why they
Dave
should
Matthews
be?
Band.
Okay. Do you want to go first?
Do you even understand the assignment
Yeah, I
at
do
this
now.
point? Because I'm doubtful.
I asked Marsh to read it 9 times. I read it from that standpoint.
You still look like blank.
No, I don't. I'm good. Go ahead.
All right, so why they shouldn't be? Basically, every song sounds the same, and all of these instruments on the stage at once, very confusing as to where you're supposed to look.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who I'm supposed to follow out there, whether or not I should be watching the trumpet guy, the drummer, the bassist, the guitarist, the guy playing the spoons,
more cowbell.
It's very confusing, and you've got this guy, especially when he was younger, looking like a 50-year-old man up there in the middle of a band, and he's wearing these clothes. And he's just, hasn't showered in a month. It's so for me that doesn't scream Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But I know, Anthony, you feel differently.
I certainly do, Jamie. I certainly do, and I'm going to tell you why on that. What has been the Blues model for all these years? We're going to get to that next on 101 ESPN. we have had a lot of conversations about the Cardinals and their model and what is their model, what's been their model over the last couple of years. But as Marsh pointed out in the office, Marsh, you feel as though it's like, hey, we don't really do the same thing when it comes to the Blues.
Yeah, we don't. We always talk about the Cards model, and of course we do criticize it. And we look at what their model's been over the last decade, and we talk about the pitching and whether or not they're drafting the right players, are they developing the right players. Can we make like a connection to the Cardinals when it comes to the Blues, or is that difficult because of the cap?
Well, both teams play in downtown St. Louis.
That is very true.
Jamie, why do you do that? Marsh is spilling his guts out to you right now. He's opening up his heart to you, and you just stomp on it.
Andrew, I'm sorry.
I'm waiting.
That you feel that way.
Oh, Jamie usually doesn't do that either.
So obviously we've been criticizing the Cardinals model, but do the Blues, obviously they had a rough season this past year. Do they have a steady and successful model, even though they did miss the playoffs this past season?
Yeah, the model goes back about 10 years, to be honest. Ken Hitchcock jumping on board here and creating a very sound defensive team. Heavy on the forecheck, tight coverage through the neutral zone, and a smothering defense in the defensive zone. That was Hitch. It was pedal to the metal all the time, no shift off. No moment is there ever a chance for you to play lazy hockey or not be in a defensive position. So that's kind of what helped turn the ship around here for the Blues. Players, and Alex Steen be one of them, love and hate Ken Hitchcock. I mean, he is one of the most intelligent hockey minds that I've ever talked to in my life, and he helped me a lot post-career, just kind of understand things, coaching, and how to be consistent with what you're coaching and don't take your foot off the gas. Now, there's certain things that I've adjusted, and I know when to take my foot off the gas, because not everybody can be driven at 100 miles an hour before things start falling apart every now and then. Yeah. But what Hitch did is he created what the Blues are. He handed it off to Mike Yeo, handed it off to Craig Berube. Like, you got to understand, the team that Craig Berube ended up winning the Stanley Cup with was originally built, the core of it built under Ken Hitchcock.
Yeah, great point.
And so Mike Yeo couldn't get the job done. It is what it is. But Craig Berube took those exact same players and went on to win the first cup. So for me, the model for the St. Louis Blues is, you don't have the Connor McDavids or the Nathan McKinnons or the Cale Makars, because you're always in the mix. This was one of the lowest they've been in a long time, but you're usually always in the mix in the playoffs. So you don't get that huge super megastar draft pick that's coming out of junior hockey or college. So you got to find the next level player, but that player's got to work hard. And you look at Robert Thomas, you look at Jordan Kyrou, you think to yourself, well, those are pretty dynamic players. They are, but they're not. Neither one of them has hit 100 points yet. In my opinion, if you're going to be a dynamic player in the NHL, you're hitting 100 points. You're hitting 110 points. Anything above, obviously, is like crazy superstar mode. So, again, the model falls back to 5-man systems, 5-man defense, 5-man forecheck, 5-man neutral zone, wave after wave after wave. That's Blues hockey. That's what the model is, and they got away from that last year. Mm-hmm. That's why they had the lack of success, was that we had Craig Berube every week. He comes on here and talks. We talked about, we weren't able to establish a forecheck. Led to a sloppy neutral zone. Give up the middle of the ice too much. Too many guys on the puck in the defensive zone. Not enough coverage in front of the net. So they got away from what is Blues hockey, and that's why last year was such an uphill battle for them.
Yeah. No, that's a great call. I remember when Ken Hitchcock was here, and he always talked about the buy-in, and it became kind of the drumbeat for the Blues. And then eventually you could tell that maybe it wore players down. But you do have to have that foundation. And you're right, Jamie, the foundation was laid. And then Mike Yeo comes in, and he doesn't necessarily, there's different ways to communicate, right? Like you could have two buddies that say the same thing, but when you got a problem, you go to one as opposed to the other, right? Because it's just the way that they communicate. One can kind of
trust one more than the other.
Yeah, absolutely. It's similar to that. And Craig Berube steps in, and boy, he said all the right things. But if you did not have that foundation laid, there's no starting point. And if you don't have a foundation, there's no direction. You're just trying to constantly find it, but you can't go back to you have nothing to fall back on. So with you saying that Ken Hitchcock established that 10 years ago or so, I think that's a great point.
I do find it interesting the way that they've sort of built the roster when you compare the Blues and the Cards. You have your internal options, which creates most of your roster. The Cards and the Blues, they've traded for those high-level players, not necessarily signed players, but when the players that they do sign, they're more of that middle-of-the-road type player. I think of like Brandon Saad. He's not a superstar by any means, but he's going to, for the most part, get you 20 goals a season. Blue collar.
Yep.
So in that aspect, I see a lot of similarities between both teams.
Yeah. I mean, the Blues, even if you look at a Ryan O'Reilly, his price tag was hefty at 7.5, and that was a great trade, but Ryan O'Reilly wasn't necessarily looked at as like a game changer as far as if you like a McDavid or a McKinnon. So like if you compare it to the Cardinals, it's not necessarily a Goldschmidt or an Arenado, but nonetheless one heck of a piece to add to your hockey club. But what you added that summer was you added blue collar. Tyler Bozak, Pat Maroon, David Perron, and Ryan O'Reilly. Not one of those guys is dynamic. Like, David Perron has dynamic hands, dynamic puck protection, but he's not a guy when you watch him play, you're like, that's a guy that goes end-to-end with the puck and scores a highlight reel goal. Just not usually, okay? Not this version of David Perron. Maybe his 19, 20-year-old years here in St. Louis. So, again, it goes back to what the model is. The model is you find guys that work hard, that can work together, play as a team, and will sacrifice for the team. And even that year, which was considered to be a very busy off season, the umbrella here was blue collar, and everybody fit under that umbrella perfectly.
That's Jamie Rivers, Andrew Marsh, Anthony Stalter's Fast Line on 101 ESPN. We got the Gauntlet next.
one challenger. Can you master the gauntlet?
Brought to you by Master, your hometown source for business communications for more than 30 years. Visit masstour.com.
It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Time for the gauntlet. 4:03, your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. We have Joey. Joey's our latest contestant. What's up, Joey?
Not too much. How you guys doing?
Doing great. First time in the gauntlet?
To Jamie, not long after you guys took over for Character. So 2.5, 3 years ago or so.
Oh, well, it's been a hot minute.
It's been a while.
So, Joey, is this a revenge spot? Are you taking on Jamie?
No. I'm going Stalter.
Oh, Anthony. He doesn't like you. I can feel it.
Well, he might be a hockey fan because he must have chose you, and he knows that I get hockey all the time. Is that right?
That's right.
Correct.
There you go.
Correct. I'm not that confident against Jamie in hockey, but I think I could take you in hockey.
Yeah, I don't blame you for saying that.
It's a hell of a strategy, Joey.
Yeah,
I mean,
it really
hats
is.
off, honestly.
Yeah. Joey, good luck, man.
Thank you.
All right, Joey. Anthony's going to make his way to the Cone of Silence. And as he's on his way there, all right, he's out of here now. All you got to do, Joey, before we get things going is tell Marshy to spin that wheel.
Spin that wheel.
All right, Joey, so am I right in assuming that you'd like to get hockey today?
Yeah.
Okay, what do you not want to get today?
I don't want football.
All right, well, good news, it's not football. Bad news, it's not hockey. You got baseball, buddy.
All right, that works.
All right, Marshy's going to pass over the launch codes here. While he's doing that, I'll just remind you that if you answer the question correctly without using the options, it's worth 2 points. If you use the options, answer correctly, it's worth 1 point. And, of course, if you get the answer wrong, it's just flat out wrong. Joey, you ready to go?
I'm ready.
All right, again, categories baseball. Question number 1. Michael Lorenzen recently pitched a no-hitter for the Phillies against which team?
Washington. Nationals.
Final answer?
Final answer.
Question number 2. Since the All-Star break, who leads the Cardinals in hits?
I'll go Newbar.
Final answer?
Yeah.
All right, Joey, question 3. The Cardinals' longest losing streak of the season so far was how many games?
I don't know. Give me the options.
All right. Was it 8, 9, or 10 games?
I'll go 9.
Final answer?
Yeah, 9.
Question number 4. The Cardinals have had 9 games go to extra innings this season. How many innings did the longest game go?
I'll take the options again.
Options are 10, 11, or 12.
I mean, I don't know. 12.
Final answer?
Yeah.
All right, Joey, we're going to get our guy Anthony in here while he's making his way in from the Cone of Silence. How you feeling, bud?
Okay. I have no idea on the innings one.
All right. All right, well, Anthony's back in the studio here. He's plugging his ears in. Anthony, how's the Cone of Silence today, buddy?
It was good. I had Mike Ryder in there, Drew, our engineer. Good guys, both of them.
Party going on in there.
Yeah, they left kind of early, though.
I wonder why.
Did they leave when you got in there?
About a minute later.
Don't take it personal. You're fine.
Thanks, Jamie.
No problem. All right, Anthony. Time to pack a lunch, though.
Okay.
Category: baseball.
Wow, baseball's been coming up big time here.
Yeah.
Question number 1. Michael Lorenzen recently pitched a no-hitter for the Phillies against which team?
Washington. The Washington Nationals. Final answer.
Question number 2. Since the All-Star break, who leads the Cardinals in hits?
Let's take a stab in the dark here and talk about the greatest player known to man and also the ultimate grinder. Lars Taylor Tatsui Nootbaar, final answer.
Question number 3. The Cardinals' longest losing streak of the season so far was how many games?
The number 7 is coming to mind, but I think they lost more than that in a row. Can I have the options, please? Let's narrow this down.
All right. Was it 8, 9, or 10 games?
Glad I asked. 8, 9, or 10. Did they get to 10 the one time? They may have. I think they got to 10. I'll say 10. Final answer.
Question number 4. The Cardinals have had 9 games go to extra innings this season. How many innings did the longest game go?
Nobody remembers that, Marsh. I'll take the options, please.
Options are 10, 11, or 12.
12. Final answer. Pure guess. Pure hot guess.
All right, let's go over this. Let's start at question number 2. Since the All-Star break, who leads the Cardinals in hits? Joey, you said Lars Nootbaar. Anthony, you said world's greatest grinder, Lars Nootbaar. Answer is
1, 2, 3, 4. I'm grinding.
Lars Nootbaar.
Nice.
neither of you needed the option.
Nice job, Joey.
2-2 after 1. Next question. Question number 3. The Cardinals' longest losing streak of the season so far was how many games long? Joe, you took the options. You said 9. Anthony, you also took the options. You said 10. Answer is...
It's 8, gentlemen.
Oh, we thought they were way worse.
Yeah. No points awarded on that one. Let's go to question number 4. The Cardinals have had 9 games go to extra innings this season. How many innings did the longest game go? Joey, you said 12. Anthony, you also said 12. Both of you used the options. The answer is...
It's 10.
10. No points awarded to either participant. Final question goes back to question number 1. One would think it was obvious, but is it? Michael Lorenzen recently pitched a no-hitter for the Phillies against which team? Joey, you said the Nationals. Anthony, you also said the Nationals. Answer is?
It's the Washington Nationals.
The answer was obvious. Neither of you needed the options.
Walk it off.
Yeah, we're going to walk it off. That's a 4-4 tie after 4. So, Joey, here's how it goes, man. We're going to ask a tiebreaker question. Don't say anything right away. Anthony's going to process this. He's going to write it down as fast as he can. Once he's written it down, we'll say, Anthony's got his answer. Joey, what's your answer? And you'll tell us right away so that people don't think you're cheating. We don't think that, but boy, the text line can be tough on some people sometimes, buddy. You understand the rules?
I understand.
All right, here we go, gentlemen. The tiebreaker question. How many hits does Lars Nootbaar have so far this season?
This season.
Anthony's writing down. He's scratching. He's writing. He's grinding. All right, Anthony's got his answer. Joey, what's your answer?
72.
All right. We've got a winner in the gauntlet. Joey.
You have chosen wisely.
The answer is 85.
Wow. I figured he missed
Joey,
a fair amount of time there.
72, right?
Yeah.
Anthony had 61. You don't watch the games. Sorry, Anthony. I don't blame you.
He missed a lot of games.
At least you didn't write a different number that was in the 60s.
Yeah, no, I thought you were just going to mail it in again, Anthony.
I didn't.
No.
I thought about it.
Well, Joey, congrats,
I would have been
buddy.
closer.
You'll come back tomorrow, and you'll have a chance to take on Marshy or myself in the gauntlet.
Nice job, Joey.
Good deal. Thank you. That was fun.
All right. Joey will be back tomorrow here in the gauntlet on 101 ESPN. Damn tiebreaker questions.
Yeah, well, those other questions were pretty tough there. At the 3 and 4 with the losing streak and then the extra innings.
I thought about writing 85, but I'm like, nah, I missed so much time.
Yeah, you would have been dead on. Can't believe you didn't do that.
85? Yeah, you'd have been right on there. Amazing how you thought that, Anthony.
By the way, we got a text from Grant. He says, I am so tired of baseball.
Poor guy's he's having to do baseball every day here. All right, it's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Jamie Rivers, Andrew Marsh. I'm Anthony Stalter. Will Caleb Williams live up to the hype? And does he also play for the team that could ruin things for the SEC this year? That's next on 101 ESPN.
Probably. You ever put your hand up inside the window at your house, and in the summertime you can just feel that heat coming through? Or in the wintertime, maybe there's a little frost on the inside of your window? That's because your replacement windows are not good enough. That's why you choose Window World, the preferred window of the St. Louis Blues. They use a double-strength glass that you just don't find in normal replacement windows. Not only are they durable, but they're efficient, too. They're efficient in keeping that utility bill down for you. They also have a lifetime warranty that covers all the parts, the glass breakage, and the labor. And customer service is at the forefront of everything Window World does. They want to make sure that the customer is completely satisfied with their experience and that the product is installed the right way, which it will be. The windows are custom ordered for your home, so they fit exactly the way they're supposed to. The technicians do their job exactly the way they're supposed to. And Window World, they're still offering 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. So all that's left to do is pick up the phone and call them and tell them that Jamie Rivers sent you. That number is 314-993-1800. That's 314-993-1800. Or you can look them up at windowworld.com.
the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. Can Caleb Williams live up to the hype when it comes to not only his Heisman chances, but just taking USC to the promised land? I would say yes.
Yeah, well, that was anticlimactic, Anthony.
Kid's dynamic. Coming up next. No, I do think he has a great chance to defend his Heisman Trophy candidacy. He's got to stay healthy. That's the obvious. But Lincoln Riley, it's the same offense. Lincoln Riley's offense is produced. He's playing still in a conference that, you know, should allow him to put up big-time passing numbers. The offensive weapons are still there for USC. The USC's got a handful of transfers that are coming in, so that might take a little bit of time, but they've got depth. The defensive depth chart's really good. I think USC is a top 5 team this year.
I was just about to ask you that.
Yeah, I think they're a top 5 team, especially entering the year.
Yeah. So when do the playoffs expand?
I wish they were this year. I don't think they expand until next year.
Okay. Because I was thinking to myself, are they a playoff team?
College football. I think they're a playoff contender. Football playoff expansion.
So they've got enough there, in your opinion, to get them to, like, in the conversation.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's see here.
What would hold them back?
12 teams. Postseason of 12 teams in time for the 2024-2025 seasons. So you're looking at next year for playoff expansion.
What would hold them back? What, like you said, the top 5 team. What holds them back from being more than that? Because obviously, if they got this guy, like, it's a serious advantage.
Absolutely. So I think what happens with dynamic offenses is that they run their own defenses out of games. We all joke about the Falcons losing the Super Bowl that year, collapsing, right? And yes, Tom Brady, and yes, Julian Edelman with the catch and all that. But what happened was the Falcons' offense ran their own defense into the ground. They were scoring so quickly in that game that the defense was gassed in the fourth quarter. And as soon as I was telling somebody this the other day, I think it was Doty. Doty stopped by, one of our engineers. He was stopping by the office, and he's like, yeah, I thought of you. I was like this. I thought of you. The NFL Networks was showing the game. Oh. Did you watch it? And every time, Jamie, I'm like...
Don't you watch it like once a week?
Every time when somebody says that to me, I think, is it worth knocking him out right now?
Wow.
Like the legal fees.
Poor Doty.
His mental health, things like that. I don't want it. Doty is an incredible guy.
By to talk
he is
to you.
So nice. Do I deck him or not?
No.
And I didn't. But as soon as they flipped the coin for overtime and the Falcons lost, I'm like, they're done. Because your defense is going right back on the field. So you asked me about USC. USC has the ability of scoring 50 a game easily. But when you're running at breakneck speed all the time, I think your defense can get gassed. Now, will it matter against Nevada? No. Will it matter against Stanford? No. When you start to get to the Notre Dames, the Utahs, the Washingtons, the Oregons, the UCLAs, it might. And USC has a habit of losing a stinker middle of the season. Middle of the season, they lose one. More physical teams will give them trouble too. The teams that want to spread you out, play fast, they don't want to get in a phone booth. I'm trying to think of an NFL equivalent. The Bills are kind of like that. The Bills don't want to play in a phone booth with you. There's been other teams that just offensively, they're exciting to watch. They spread you out. They do not want to get physical. USC, I think, will have an issue when it comes to physicality.
Have you ever seen that phone booth boxing?
No.
They're doing it over.
Two guys get in a phone booth and they box?
Yeah. They start. Go ahead.
Let me ask you just before you continue. I'm interested.
Yes, it is interesting.
Is there a sport that doesn't exist? I guess is my question at this point.
I'm sure there is, but we're closing in on that quickly.
Go for it.
I think it's over in Russia. I was watching these, did a deep dive, YouTube wormhole.
Sure.
Ended up these two guys in a phone booth, and there's one panel of the window that's like open. And anyways, they start back to back, and then they ring the bell, and they turn as fast as they can. They just start throwing haymakers with the little UFC gloves on.
Yeah.
And just go nonstop. And like one guy gets knocked out like 3 times in a row, but
he's up.
keeps coming up, keeps coming up.
It's so close.
Finally, when he gets dropped, now the referee comes in, but he's outside the phone booth, and that little spot that's open, the little window, is his hand that comes in. And when his hand goes in, it means stop punching the guy.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
I mean, it sounds safe, right?
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
There's no strategy.
No.
The strategy is swing as many times as you can, as hard as you can, and hope you have a good chin.
Yeah.
And having a good chin or not, like, doesn't necessarily make you tough.
No.
Because it just is what it is. And then once you get knocked out once or twice or 3 times, it's easier. You get knocked out easier. That's what happens to some of the greatest fighters.
Yeah.
Is all of a sudden they get just a little tap and the legs are gone. They don't know why. It's just because it happens quicker.
Right.
Anyways, it's entertaining. You should check it out.
I'll do so. All right. So is USC the team? The other factor here too is USC the team that will ruin Georgia's party, because Georgia's the 2-time defending champion. I didn't give enough credit to Michigan the other day. We were kind of talking about this. I'm like, man, Michigan with J.J. McCarthy and Crum and Edwards in the backfield. I mean, Michigan's going to be a team to reckon with again. I know they blew it against TCU in the semifinals last year.
A lot of teams blew it against TCU last year.
You're right. You're right. I mean, Michigan really blew it last year. But
I know.
Defensively, they were outstanding last year. TCU, they fell apart there. They gave up too many big plays and all that. But Michigan, I think, has got a real good chance to upset the party again. And you got to give credit to Ohio State. Ohio State's got 3 different offensive linemen, 3 new offensive linemen that are coming in. They're all studs, but still, to develop that chemistry and that cohesion right away and maintain that throughout the year is difficult. So Ohio State will put up a bunch of points, certainly, but I think that offensive line gelling throughout the year is going to be the difference between them making the playoffs or not. I actually think Michigan and Ohio State might be slightly better than Bama this year, entering the year. So I think Michigan is
so
a
this
team.
year would be a perfect year to expand the playoffs.
This is a perfect year to expand the playoffs. Absolutely.
Think they'll change it?
No, I don't. I wish they would.
They can, can't they? Can't they just say, you know what?
I don't know if they can. I'm sure they can do whatever they
want. There's no players' union they have to ask.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, the other teams I'm kind of interested in this year, LSU. I think LSU, the second year under Kelly. Florida State, Jordan Travis is a really fun playmaker from the quarterback position. I want to see Florida State. When we were in the 90s, Jamie, we were watching college football in the 90s. Florida State was one of those teams under Bobby Bowden that you're like, man, that's always an exciting team. I love their stadium, and I love their fan base and all that. I hope Florida State winds up being pretty good this year, and I think going in, they'll at least be in the top 10. Penn State's always good. Washington, I think, is going to. Washington and Utah are right there. And then the other team, even though they lost Bijan Robinson, the other team that's kind of interesting is Texas. Texas now under Steve Sarkisian for year 2. I think it's year 2 for him in Austin. He loses his best player, but
seems like he's turning.
They can always,
good,
Texas always recruits well. I'm excited for college football season to come back around.
I can tell, Anthony.
No doubt. Sports Six Pack is next. 314-399-9646. That is our Air Comfort Service text line. If you want to leave us a question there, or our YouTube channel at 101 ESPN STL, please do. We'll do our Sports Six Pack next.
Selling your house is a massive thing. It is very stressful. It can be taxing at times. And in this market, especially where it's kind of all over the place, you don't really know what direction to go in. Don't trust somebody who can't get your home sold. Trust the best. That's Gloria Lou with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. One thing about Gloria is she's got certain processes that help her get your closing done, get your home sold. One of them is the guaranteed sales. What I love about this is Gloria will sit down with the seller and agree upon a price that they're going to sell the house for, and she'll sell the home for that price or more, and she guarantees that in handwriting, and guess what? She'll buy it herself if she doesn't sell it for that, which is huge. And good thing about Gloria Lewis, she already has the buyers. Gloria has thousands of ready buyers in her exclusive database, higher demand, multiple offers, more money, all that stuff. Go with the best. Go with Gloria Lou with Your Home Sold Realty and give her a call at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888. Or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Conditions do apply. Gloria and the seller must agree on the price and possession date.
.101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Cards win over the Tampa Bay Rays last night by a final score of 6-4. They're back in action tonight, taking on the Rays once again. The rubber game of the matchup between the Cards and the Rays. Matthew Liberatore on the mound going up against Zach Littell, 5:40 first pitch. We talked earlier today with Chris Kerber. If you missed that interview, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the 101 mobile app. You can find all of our interviews and the full show. It's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. We have our Sports Six-Pack coming up next. If you have a question, send it our way to the Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646. We'll answer those next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff. Find new roads and shop 24/7 at Londoff.com and LondoffAutoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six-Pack is refreshed by Maggie O'Brien's, your go-to Irish pub in St. Louis for over 42 years.
Time for the Sports Six-Pack, 314-399-9646 to the Air Comfort Service text line or the YouTube channel at 101 ESPN STL with Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stelter. Here's Andrew Marsh with your questions.
Question number one.
Great question here from the 661. Guys, You even get nasty on the weekends?
Yeah.
Gotta take a few days off, my dudes. Rest and recover. Maybe a protein shake or a bubble bath.
Yeah, I'm getting nasty 7 days a week, or at least I'm trying to.
Yeah.
The bubble bath. I don't know, Anthony. Do you do bath?
I don't.
You're not a bath bomb guy like Patrick Mahomes?
No, and maybe I should be because Patrick Mahomes, he's a Super Bowl winner, so maybe I'll be a Super Bowl winner too. But no, I don't do baths. I feel like they might take too long.
I feel
like I'm just always on the go.
Well, yeah, that's true. I think I've had one in 15 years, maybe longer.
I can't tell you the last time I took a bath.
Well, a hot tub's not really a bath, is it?
No.
All right.
So.
You're not soaping yourself in there, are you?
Well, we did. Yeah. Yeah. I say we. It's plural. Yeah.
You and Anthony?
No. I mean, I would, but no.
No, wasn't me that time, Marsh.
No, we went to Mexico. Ashley and I were fortunate enough to have a suite that was like overlooking the ocean, and we had the hot tub on the balcony.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a few cocktails that day.
Yeah.
And she, not me, the doctor, not me, chose to pour in some bubble bath into the hot tub.
Oh, no.
It was too much, and let's just say that thing was overflowing, and the breeze would come off the ocean and pick up like handfuls of bubbles, and people were down below going, "It's snowing!" And there was a mountain of bubbles, and I was like, we're in it now."
Yep.
We're just laying in there, bubbles covering up, we're still drinking. It was awesome.
That's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
No hot tub story.
Yeah.
But you are getting nasty 24/7.
Oh, yeah.
You have to.
Absolutely. Getting nasty is let's get nasty. It's a way of life. You know, it's a philosophy.
Honestly, we've missed the boat on that. We should have T-shirts. The Fast Lane. Let's get nasty.
Why can't we do it now?
Well, because they probably don't. They don't do anything we ask. We're not the Rizzuto show. If the Rizzuto show say, "Hey, we need to Let's Get Nasty," tomorrow we'd have 2 boxes of Let's Get Nasty T-shirts.
Yes, sir, Riz. Yes, sir.
Yeah, here you go. Yeah. Fastlane, we have a great idea. Be the Nasty Mafia. We could have that.
Mm-hmm. Nothing.
All the great ideas. Nah, never happened.
Nah.
All right.
Question number 2.
That's what happens when you're not respected.
That's a good point, Anthony. By the way, that was Anthony. Not me.
What?
Mr. Kielski. That was Anthony.
Oh, listen to him. Unbelievable.
This one's from the
Marsh, can you see
Walrus King.
Can you see the tire marks on my back, or from there? Can you see them? Because they're there.
Okay, I believe you.
Go ahead.
From the Walrus King on our YouTube page, what's going out on Olive Boulevard?
Oh, yeah. There, I was looking at something earlier.
Yeah.
I thought there was an accident in the parking lot. There wasn't.
Were there geese? Okay.
It wasn't geese. It just caught my eye.
Okay.
Yeah.
But no accident.
No, it wasn't an accident at all.
Not in the parking lot.
Good.
No.
Awesome.
No, you're right. Never know where.
Question number 3.
573. CJ Stroud or Justin Fields, fantasy football QB1?
Oh,
Fields.
Justin Fields. Come on.
Fields because of the rushing ability. That's a layup.
The Russian? He's not Russian.
He's rushing the ball.
Rushing ability.
Okay.
Yeah. Rushing ability.
Honestly, I'm not taking either one of those quarterbacks QB1.
Why not?
I mean, unless they if Justin Fields falls to you, yes, but I would not draft up to get Justin Fields.
Shame on you.
I usually don't I don't even think about quarterbacks until about the 5th round.
Yeah.
Like if I'm looking at a quarterback in the first couple of rounds, I'm bypassing wide receivers and running backs and tight ends that could help me.
Now, if it's a double quarterback league where you have 2 quarterbacks, different thing.
Okay, so a couple of years ago,
I remember this story.
My buddy switched up. He switched it up, and I go, I'm not going to change my draft philosophy. And I couldn't believe the amount of running backs and wide receivers that were still on the board that should not have been on the board. I finished dead last that year. Because I did not have 2 good quarterbacks. I didn't have 2 good quarterbacks. I was like, it's fine. There's plenty of quarterbacks available later on. Yeah, I wound up with, I couldn't even tell you who I wound up with. It wasn't good, though. So all those running backs and all those wide receivers and all those tight ends did nothing for the team. If you're in a 2-quarterback league, 1-2 right off the bat.
Did you have...
Don't even think about it.
Matt Ryan?
I may have. Yeah. I may have. When he got sacked 487 times. I think I had him that year.
That makes sense.
Yep.
Probably the year after they had that historical offensive season.
2 years after, but I see what you're doing, Marsh.
Question number 4.
I think you're trying to pump me up a little bit.
I'm just saying. Troll or text from the 636. What college teams did Marsh enjoy watching in the 1990s?
Marshy, what year were you born?
1996.
Oh, that's tough. All 4 years of you checking out that college ball. What?
We've done this before.
What?
What is the Super Bowl that you first remember watching?
It was
nothing will make
Rams
you feel.
one.
Nothing will make you feel older. So the greatest show on turf.
The Rams and Titans.
I was a senior in high school.
That was your first Super Bowl that you remember?
No, I was a senior in high school for the greatest show on turf. My first one that I really remember was Scott Norwood, wide right.
Oh man.
Oh wow. So I remember Super Bowl 1981. Jim Plunkett, the Oakland Raiders. That was I remember because in the next day on the front page of the sports, they had him back there and he had, the helmet, which is like the two bars across in that stance. And it was like MVP. So that's the first one I remember.
All right.
It's interesting though,
That makes me
because
feel old.
Yeah.
the World Series, like the first World Series I remember watching, and not that I didn't watch them before, but like the one I can vividly remember watching was 2002 between the Angels and the Giants.
The Rally Monkey.
With the Rally Monkey. But the first Stanley Cup I remember watching was in 2001 when the Avalanche won and that was the Ray Bourque year, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that was the first one of that I remember.
The first World Series I remember watching like every game was the Earthquake Series.
Yeah,
in 89.
that was brutal.
Giants and A's.
Yeah, I remember that, obviously.
That's when I fell in love with Will Clark.
Yeah.
He was
right,
unbelievable in the 89 NLCS against the Cubs. I mean, he took them behind the woodshed, up on the woodshed, underneath the woodshed. There was nothing left of the Cubs after Will Clark got done with them in 89. And then they got swept by Tony's A's.
I don't know what the first World Series I remember. I know the first Stanley Cup I remember was 1980. It was the New York Islanders. They won that one. I was like 5 years old at the time. But I'll never forget, we're up at my grandma, her brother, so my great uncle, had a farm and that little wee TV, and we had been out in the field all day riding the tractors and buzzing around and doing all sorts of crazy stuff that kids do out in the middle of nowhere that kids today wouldn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And then we went in there and like 10 people are hovered around a small little TV watching the New York Islanders. win the
Gather
Stanley
around,
Cup.
kids.
Yeah, pretty much.
Little did you know you'd be putting on one of those sweaters later in
Little
life.
did I know.
No kidding. Great
So
points.
true.
I remember watching the Rangers
In 94?
in 94.
Yeah.
Mark Messier,
Oh, yeah.
Brian Leach, Richter. Yeah.
Stefan Matteau.
Yeah.
Step on
Step
my
on my
toe.
toe.
To the texter's point, which college team did I enjoy? I'll use the 2000s instead of the 90s. I was a huge Texas Longhorns fan.
Vince Young?
Loved Vince Young.
Yeah.
Loved Vince Young.
That USC Texas national championship is still the greatest national championship ever played.
And I stayed up to watch that game because at the time, like, I'm a little kid and probably shouldn't be staying up past my bedtime. I think the game went till probably around midnight. At least it felt like it. I watched that entire thing. It was awesome.
Yeah, you did. Yes, you did.
Hell yeah, I did.
Hell yeah.
Question number 5.
From the 618, Jamie, would you ever play bandy?
Oh, yeah. So this bandy's weird, man. It's like field hockey sticks on this massive sheet of ice. Like, I mean, enormous. Like, a guy gets a breakaway and 12 seconds later, he's at the net. I don't know if they play much of it over here. When I was over in Russia in particular, like, they televised this crap.
Really? This crap.
Well, it's literally like field hockey on ice. So you get these little wee wonky sticks, and you're like smacking this puck around, but you're not like treating it like hockey.
Yeah.
So you got a guy that can skate 1,000,000 miles an hour, and he looks like an all-star out there just because there's so much ice available.
I've never even heard of it.
Yeah, it's interesting. Would I play it? Yeah, of course I would if there's beers involved. I'm not playing it like for real. I wouldn't. I think I'd die out there. There's way too much skating involved. Maybe 20 years ago. Not now.
We got a text.
There's a breakaway.
Yeah, good for him.
He's still going.
I'll see him tomorrow.
He's at the 20, the 10, the 5. He
It's pretty much what it
scores.
is. So if anybody's listening, or even you guys tonight, punch in on YouTube or Google Bandy, and you'll be like, what am I watching? It's hockey, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Where do you even find a rink that big?
They just,
How
it's
much
outside.
money do you have to? So it's all.
It's
the
most of it's
biggest
outside.
ODR you can find in the world.
Yeah, and they're like soccer nets that they play with. It's literally like field hockey, but on ice. It's craziness.
They play on a giant rug, as Anthony would call it.
Old dirty rug.
Old dirty rug.
Yeah.
By the way, from the 636, he staltered Norwood.
I staltered Norwood?
Yeah, it was your first game. You staltered him.
You did.
No, okay, so that wasn't a thing. That's a BK thing. BKO. I haven't staltered anybody.
No, when you staltering something is just making up an answer.
Thank you.
Yeah,
that's
true.
what stalter is.
Used
so,
in the
for
wrong
example,
context.
go ahead,
way
Jamie.
different.
Go ahead. Let's showcase this.
All right, Anthony. How many matches in a common match book?
27.
He has no idea.
I have no idea, but I answer it confidently.
That would make
and
sense,
quickly. I answer it confidently and quickly. So Jamie doesn't know.
Well,
Now,
you
Jamie
have
is caught
9
on.
matches per. There's 3 boxes, or there's 3 little sections in the box, and there's 9 in each of the sections. So that would amount to 27.
30
so that makes
matches
sense.
are in a common match book.
Either way, he's not sure.
I'm
You
not
gotta
sure.
look
I
it
had to
up.
Google it because he's so positive.
Even though but that's staltering things.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, Jamie's been around me so much. He knows. He knows when I'm staltering
I know
things
it.
now.
Oh, yeah, there is a little bit of a tell. I'm not going to tell you what it is. But and sometimes I don't catch it right away. It'll take me a second, and you totally just staltered.
Yeah. I usually do it when like we're watching movies or something. Like when I'm watching movies with the kids or the kids and the wife, and they ask me like, "Who's that guy?" I'm like, "Oh, he was in he was in the city the first 5 minutes." And then there's a hush, and there's like, "What city?" It's good, clean fun. Good.
Question number 6.
On the 314, who needs to have a bigger year for the Blues? Jake Neighbors or Tyler Tucker?
Who has to have a bigger year? Wow. Define big, because they're two completely different players. Like Tyler
To each
Tucker.
their own.
Yeah, Tyler Tucker doesn't need to go score 15 goals.
Maybe who needs to make a bigger impact? Who has to have a bigger
Yeah,
impact?
I think, well, based on that, I think you need Jake Neighbors to have a bigger impact. I mean, he's, a highly touted prospect, and we've talked about him for a number of years, and he played last year, and he finished with a strong season. For me, Tyler Tucker just being on the opening night roster, that's a victory for him. I don't mean that in a bad way. He's come out of relative obscurity within this organization to being in a spot now where he can win himself a job.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the Blues, to be successful, need both of these guys to have a big year. You need that tough presence on the blue line, left-handed shot. You don't have that guy right now on your squad. So you need Tyler Tucker in there, and you need Jake Neighbors to take the torch from Ivan Barbashev and play like that.
All right, there you have it. That's your Sports Six Pack here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. NFL Better Bet next.
For over 80 years, the Londoff family has been providing the best prices and award-winning service here in St. Louis. You have to remember, too, that at Londoff Chevrolet, buying a car is always more than just the price tag. From the moment you walk onto the showroom floor till you drive off in your brand new or pre-owned vehicle, Johnny Londoff team wants to make you feel like you're part of the family. And I know this because I have been a customer for well over 20 years now and know the family very well. And every time I have had a buying experience, it's been easy, super easy. The last time I went online, got pre-qualified, showed up to the lot, did a test drive, and we were done. Paperwork was ready. I was ready to go. And you can expect the same kind of service. And the best part about it, too, now, no excuses about trying to get there. They got 2 locations. The Londoff Autoplex, located out in St. Peters, right off of Highway 70, and the original Londoff Chevrolet in Florissant, Missouri. Both locations have a tremendous amount of inventory, and they both have state-of-the-art service centers. So no excuses whatsoever. Get into one of those places. Tell them Jamie Rivers sent you. If you can't get there in person, get there online. Londoff.com or LondoffAutoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
Johnny Londoff Chevrolet.
Time for NFL Better Bet with Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stelter. Here is Andrew Marsh.
All right, gentlemen, better bet. Packers win more games than Aaron Rodgers and the Jets this season.
Yeah, that is the better bet. Weaker conference, weaker schedule, better O-line, defenses. I mean, the Jets have a better defense, but I don't think the Jets have a better front seven overall than the Packers. And I don't think Jordan Love's going to stink this year. I think he's going to be pretty good. A couple of years now.
Obviously, I meant to say who's going to win more games than Jets.
I get you.
Whatever.
I'm going to go with the Packers.
Oh, more wins than the Jets?
Yeah.
Who wins more games this year, the Jets or the Packers?
Anthony.
Packers.
You're out to lunch. I don't think the Jets are going to be as good as everybody thinks they will be, but they're going to win more games than the Packers. Packers stink. Jordan Love stinks.
I agree.
Jets, harder schedule. Aaron Rodgers playing behind a worse line. Aaron Rodgers wasn't as good last year as he has been. Production could fall. Worse coaching for the Jets this year.
Packers stink.
Better bet 49ers end the year with Brock Purdy at quarterback, or Christian McCaffrey ends the season healthy.
Better bet?
The better bet is that Brock Purdy is the 49ers quarterback by the end of the year. Christian McCaffrey never stays healthy.
But he's not going to be the one-man show like he used to be. They don't have to use him every single freaking play. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, they have like 20 running backs.
CMC, get back out there, kid. We're going to need you. I've already touched the ball 50 times. I think Brock Purdy's going to have a good year this year.
All right.
Marsh keeps doubting him.
I don't doubt him. I've been doubting him.
The question is, what do they do with Trey Lance?
What about Sam Darnold?
What about him?
I mean, former first-round pick.
On his third team. I think Trey Lance is a Falcon at some point.
Do you like that?
No.
Okay.
Either way, they won't have a quarterback.
All right, gentlemen. Better bet.
See what I did there, Jamie?
I like what you did there. Yeah.
Steelers finish with a losing record, or the Browns make the playoffs.
I think the better bet is that the Browns make the playoffs because the Steelers have never had a losing record under Mike Tomlin. So based on trends, the Steelers have a 0% chance of having a losing season under Mike Tomlin. And the Browns, Deshaun Watson a year ago is bouncing back from not playing for a year and a half. Their front seven's not terrible. I think they're pretty average, but their O-line is very good. Their running game is great because of Nick Chubb and because of that O-line. Their defense outside of the front seven, I don't mind their secondary. I don't think it's awful. It's probably their weaker point. I think they're going to have an average defense. I think they're having a really good running game. And if Deshaun Watson, who at one point was, considered by a lot of people as definitely a top 10 quarterback, maybe even a top 6 or 7 quarterback in the league, if he can have a rebound year, I think that offense for Cleveland is going to be pretty good. I wouldn't be shocked if they made the playoffs. I'd be very surprised if the Steelers had a losing season.
Well, it's just not very common for them.
No. Like at all, Bob.
Ever.
Yeah.
Better bet Todd Bowles is fired first in Tampa Bay, or Ron Rivera is fired first in Washington.
Todd Bowles is dead man walking. They are. I wonder if he's already been fired and they just have like the paperwork is there.
Yeah.
They're just waiting for maybe like the first couple of games to go sideways. The Buccaneers are going to be awful this year. Awful. Kyle Trask may start a quarterback. And maybe Kyle Trask is going to be fine. I don't know. But if Shaky Bakey's their guy, forget it. Shaky Bakey can't see over the O-line. That's been the biggest problem.
He's an ultimate competitor.
Is he?
Yeah, he is. This guy's guts, man. I'm telling you.
Anthony, he had a really good drive last year with the Los Angeles Rams. I know we keep hitting on that,
comeback.
But it's almost as good as the 2022 Bart Starr Award
He
winner.
threw a 9 route. That's what he did. He threw 1 9 route, and it's like this guy always underestimated.
Define a 9 route,
you know what?
Anthony.
He threw a 9 route for 6. So
what's the difference between a 9 and a 10?
So,
one exists and the other doesn't.
That's correct. So the 9 route would be your go.
Oh, okay.
Your go route.
Why is it a 9?
Because that's the route on the route tree. So the 9 route.
So it doesn't look like a 9. Like he's not starting, making a circle at the top.
No.
And stopping.
No.
Gotcha.
Yeah. There's a route tree in football.
What?
So like a slant is 1.
Why is it a tree though?
I think the odd numbers.
When you put them all together, does it make it look like a tree?
Yeah,
is that what you're talking about?
Yes. So I think the even numbers are to the outside. The odd numbers are to the inside.
Well, the 9 is straight down the field.
Correct. So it's the top of the tree.
Is that the trunk?
That would
straight
be,
up?
No, yes, exactly.
Okay.
That's the trunk of the tree. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like a slant is 1. An in route's like a 5.
So what if a team has
An out route's a 2.
What if a team has like
Post is 7.
Why can't a team
Or an
have
8.
more than 9? What if you got a twisty branch on there?
I mean, it's something to think about.
Where's the button hook come in?
The hook would be, I think, a 6. Let me look this up.
He's pretzeled now.
I'm trying to think. I'm going back to high school.
I'm just screwing with him. Now he's like pretzeled.
No, I'm like, I want to remember
Give me
these.
the old number 13.
Route tree. There is no 13.
They say, what? There is on my team.
All right, so
the go, stop, go, that one.
The 9's a fade. Okay, so the even numbers are to the inside. Odd numbers are outside.
Right.
Slant's a 2, curls a 4, a dig or an in route is a 6, a post is 8, and I should have known that because it's bang 8. The Cowboys made it famous. Bang 8.
Okay.
The corner is a 7. It's Jamie's favorite route. Bang 8. Out.
The number 9's not bad either.
Out is a 5. Come back is a 3. Flat route's a 1. Here, Jamie.
Maybe
Here's your route tree. Okay.
Huh?
See?
More like a snowflake, actually.
Well, at the top, yeah, sure, but
Yeah. I don't like your tree.
okay.
It's dumb.
It is what it is, Jamie. It's neither dumb or smart. It is what it is.
You mentioned the Cowboys. Better bet. Last one here. Dak Prescott and the Cowboys make the NFC Championship game, or Josh Allen and the Bills make the AFC Championship game.
So the better bet is either the Cowboys make the championship game or the Bills make the championship game. Yeah, give me them Bills.
Give me the Bills. I have no confidence in that Cowboys team.
Let's stampede over that question. You know what I mean?
Oh,
sounds good.
Yeah.
Let's Bills Mafia that question.
Yeah.
We'll run
Bills.
our 9 route right through it.
The
Yeah, we
9
will.
right through it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Do you learn something today, Jamie?
I sure did, Anthony.
Inside routes even. Outside routes.
Football's a way easier sport than I thought. Just got to know 9 routes. That's it.
Super easy. Super easy.
I don't know why defenses can't pick that crap up. This guy's giving the old sixer here. Get the guy on the 2.
As if they know the plays.
It's like Tecmo Bowl. If he gets the right play, you get the QB.
That's very true. That's very true. I miss Tecmo Bowl.
Me too.
All right, what's trending is next in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN.
Jamie Rivers here. I want to talk to you about E&B Granite. They are the best in the business. Whether you are looking to remodel your kitchen or your bathroom. For me, I had no idea what I wanted to do. It was easy. I drove down to 6135 Manchester Avenue, walked in, and the sales representatives helped me out right away. Say, hey, what's your vision? I said, I don't have one. Said, perfect. We got you covered. And they showed me all the things that they had available. They explained how the process would work. And then the best part was when it came time to pick the actual countertop, I got a chance to walk in the back of the warehouse, and they have all of the countertops back there. And whether you're looking for granite or quartz, marble, even soapstone, E&B Granite has you covered. And the process is simple. They get in, they measure everything perfectly. Then when they take everything out, all your old stuff, it's not a worry. Don't worry about it. The house is left impeccably clean, and then the installation happens, and that's where the magic is. Just amazing what they can do to your kitchen or your bathroom. So please don't hesitate. Give them a call. Tell them Jamie Rivers sent you in. That number is 314-645-9300. Again, 314-645-9300, or visit enbgranite.com.
What's trending in the world of sports? The Fast Lane has you covered. What's trending now?
Brought to you by Goodwill. Donate to Goodwill and get a half-price Cardinals ticket voucher.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN. Anthony Stalter, Jamie Rivers, I'm Andrew Marsh, and it's time for What's Trending. We got a text message from the 636. What is trending? It is past 5 o'clock, and Tyler O'Neill is still in the starting lineup.
Yeah, no kidding. He may actually play tonight, guys.
He hasn't touched the turf yet. The turf is hot lava to him.
Sure. Once he passes the line.
Yeah. My knees.
It's not funny, Jamie. This is a human being who clearly doesn't want to play.
Clearly.
Speaking of funny, though, we did get
You be nice
Why?
to him. He's got a lot of stuff going on. He's got bad knees and back, neck, fingers, everything. Whole latimus dorsimus eximus going on, you know?
What?
Yeah.
What?
It's science. That's my life.
The pectoral fin.
It's a dorsal fin. It's a dorsal bone.
That was the joke.
It's the old dorsal bone in the back.
Yeah.
We got a mic drop from Janet on Tyler O'Neill, and I thought it was pretty funny. Take a listen.
I would bye-bye Popeye, Junior Popeye. I'd bye-bye him in a minute.
Wow. Do you think she's suggesting she'd kill him?
No,
Oh.
no. She's professional.
Okay.
She's not going to do that. It's just a business for Janet. You know that. She's
Yeah.
like Army. She don't care. She's
She don't
cutting
care.
ties.
She's
That's
cutthroat
it.
about it.
Yep.
You know what? She's not emotional when she's making her decisions about her team, which
She's fired up.
I completely respect. Yeah.
She's not wrong.
No, she's not wrong at all.
What is one of the rules here in the gauntlet that we've established?
In the gauntlet or the fast lane?
Not the gauntlet, the fast lane. There are rules in the gauntlet, but I'm talking about the fast lane.
Don't look at me directly in the eye.
Nobody's safe.
Nobody's safe is a big one.
That's the exact one I'm looking for.
Bury
From
the bodies.
314.
Bury the bodies is the other one.
The 314 says Tyler O'Neill just changed the spelling of his last name to O'Neill, spelled O-K-N-E-E-L.
That's not bad.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
From the 636, he is the Moonlight Graham. And when he crosses the dirt, he becomes an elderly doctor.
Yeah, I could see that.
It worked out okay for Moonlight.
It was terrible for Moonlight.
Oh, they ended up saving a life at the end of it.
Yeah, well, he was saving lives all the time. He was a doctor. The one thing he wanted to do was play in an actual game. And because the one jerk pushed the little girl off the top of the bleachers there.
Yeah.
And she started choking on the hot dog. Moonlight Graham's got a... That's what it was. It was a hot dog she was eating.
So the brother in that movie, do you know what other baseball movie he's in?
The redheaded guy?
Yeah.
No.
He's in Little Big League.
Was he a jerk in that too?
No, he was like one of the main characters.
Oh.
He ends up becoming the boyfriend of the
kid's
kid.
mother.
The kid's mother.
Totally took advantage of that situation. By the
Boy,
way.
wait, so he was? Yeah.
I think his name was Lou.
Because the kid became the owner of the team. This guy saw his meal ticket a mile away.
He certainly
and
did.
He was like,
Wow.
all of a sudden, I like mommy here.
You know,
that's disgusting.
It's weird. It happened in Rookie of the Year too.
Yeah,
Chet Steadman.
Yeah.
What is going on here?
Yeah, but at least then, what's his name? Rowan Gardner?
Oh, you got Henry Rowan Gardner, and then you got Billy Haywood.
Yeah.
But Billy Haywood was loaded because he got the team.
Yes.
So his mom, that was like this guy moving on up.
Wow.
And with Roe Gardner, whatever the hell his name
Henry.
was.
Yeah.
Henry, his mom, they weren't rich.
No.
But then the major leaguer who had been there forever probably had a few bucks to his name. So maybe she was moving on up, I
think
Two
she fell.
different situations.
I think she fell in love. She saw what the old man was bringing to the kid's life,
Oh, she saw something.
And he was the manager, too, at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe trying to get some extra playing time. But it didn't turn out all too well for him. I think he ended up getting benched because he was hanging out with the mom.
Well, all I know is that guy from Field of Dreams has never apologized to Moonlight Graham. That was his one opportunity.
He probably said sorry.
No, he didn't. Maybe he did. Yeah. And then he said that you feel that way, Moonlight
Exactly.
Graham. And that's just despicable. Just despicable. One opportunity. And he's got to go save the little girl, which I'm glad he did. Okay?
I don't know what your
That's
problem is
great.
with that little girl, Anthony.
But she wasn't at
Oh, you're
fault.
mad. You're clearly angry at her.
The uncle pushed her off.
He didn't push.
Well,
it was an accident.
she was choking on a hot dog.
He didn't just shove her off the freaking bleachers, bro.
Here's the thing, though.
What the hell's wrong with you?
He should have had a calm conversation with Kevin Costner about what he was doing, but he didn't. He went in there like a bat out of hell.
Yeah.
And then she wound up getting shoved off. And then look, Moonlight Graham's got to step across the line.
He would have anyways.
Literally.
He wouldn't have. There would have been no reason for Moonlight Graham to
got
go
to play,
across the line.
Anthony.
He did he?
He did.
He was playing.
He was playing. He had to come off the field.
Okay, well, he could have stayed there.
Have you seen the movie?
He was happy. He was happy until old redhead
Saving
decided
lives.
to
Saving
get
lives,
involved.
Anthony. It's a pretty good feeling, too. Okay?
He had done that his entire life.
Saving
Moonlight Graham,
lives.
he served his duty. He had to.
You're gonna say his penance, right?
No.
Wow.
What's it
Saving
called?
people's lives.
The doctor's oath. He had the doctor's oath. He served and protected. Okay?
He's not a policeman. He's not a policeman.
Stop. I'm on a roll.
What the hell is wrong with you?
Anthony, his baseball career went to crap.
Who knows if he could
Because
even
of
hit
that.
a curveball?
I'm sure he could.
He could save a life and probably couldn't hit a breaking ball. So he probably made the right decision.
No. This is like some coach not understanding the analytics of playing shortstop and the quick release, and he's only looking at the time. And he's saying to a young Moonlight Graham, you're really a second baseman. That's what this is about.
Oh, I see what's happening here. Ah, yeah. It's got personal.
We all have a little Moonlight Graham in us.
It'd be real nice if just for one time you at least try and ease his pain, Anthony.
One time.
Just
Ease his
one
pain.
time.
You know? Let's all have a catch when we're all said and done here.
That's another.
Play catch.
That's another.
Why is a baseball
debate.
movie? Let's have a catch.
Let's have a catch.
Have a catch.
Did you
the hell
mean to
are you
say
talking
play
about?
catch and have a beer and get them mixed up together? Like, I never quite got the have a catch thing.
Yeah. This is
Catch.
dumb.
What?
Yeah.
Have you guys ever
Let's
been
go
to
play catch.
Field of Dreams?
No.
It's pretty cool.
Is it?
I've been there one time.
Did you play?
I did, yeah. Yeah, so like when you get there, there's like everyone can kind of just, throw or have a catch.
Have a catch.
They play a big game of scrub out there, whoever's there.
Whoever's there,
That's cool.
So
Yeah.
Nice.
it was a good time, and then I stepped off the field, and my baseball career was over.
And that was it.
That was the last time I threw a
never
baseball.
played again.
You saved,
I legit haven't thrown a baseball
you
since.
saved a life, though, didn't you?
Sure.
Who is Marsh saved?
There's a girl who was choking.
No, she wasn't.
Yeah. A hot dog.
He went to her, and she said, "I'm not joking.
She saved her life
Leave me
anyways.
alone.
He's like, you need mouth to mouth, ma'am, immediately.
Leave me alone." She said,
She's like, okay.
"Yeah."
Then I walked back into the cornfield.
Tic Tac, sir?
Oh boy. All right.
Anyways, Tyler O'Neill still in the lineup.
Yep.
Give it time.
That's what's trending here on 101 ESPN. All right. I'm really upset. And I think I'm more upset because you're not upset about this whole Moonlight Graham thing. Has defense been as big of an issue for the Cardinals as their
Good
pitching?
doctors, Anthony.
We have them. We have a ton. There's good doctors
Is
everywhere.
the name Moonlight, though?
No. It's very true. All right.
One thing I don't want my doctor name is Moonlight. This guy's moonlighting as a doctor?
All right, we're going to get into that D next here on 101 ESPN.
Of course we are. Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter, back with our guy Stewie from Stewart's American Mortgage Corporation. Stewie, people have debt up to their eyeballs right now. Credit card debt, interest rates are going up. What can you do to help us?
Jamie, we just saw a report today. Credit card debt in the United States of America, over $1 trillion. The average interest rate, 25% on a credit card. That means $250 billion that's being paid on interest. Now, if you're out there and you're incurring this debt and you don't even want to look at the statements, you don't know what the rates are, you're starting to get nervous that you're accumulating the debt, you can't make the payments, or you can just make the minimum payments, but you're not facing the facts. I'm telling you out there, if you're in that position, we can help you. Do it right now before the rates get even higher, and they will, okay? Get with us now. Do a cash-out refinance. Pay off that debt. Get in a position that you'll be able to make your payments on time. Don't wait until the point that you're not going to be able to turn back on. Do it now.
Yeah, this is the thing. I mean, if you're struggling with credit card debt, you probably had some sleepless nights about it, and you're constantly worried, and you want to do the right thing. You want to dig out. Do the smart thing by picking up the phone right now and calling Stewie at 314-324-4440.
Again, that's 314-324-4440.
He'll help you out. He'll help you out and do it in a smart way. There's no judgment, anything. Stewie just wants to help. So, again, call that number. Or, Jamie,
Google the bag alone.
Thanks, Stewie.
Have a good one, guys.
NMLS number 226715.
I realize here, guys, something's got to give. But for me, I'm making it a priority. We have to be a really good team defensively. Because let me tell you, that part of the game is the only thing that shows up every single night. Base running and defensive play are the only things that show up every single night. So I'm telling my players, the best defenders that are offensively capable of performing at the big league level, they're going to play. And if you want to fall into that category, you got to get better.
That was Dan O'Dowd, MLB Network. He was on the BK and Ferrario show. It's the Fastlane on 101 ESPN. I love his take on that. If you are going to be a team that's dedicated to defense, then you got to play your best defenders. You got to play guys that actually can play defense. Do you know why the defense got worse this year? I think we almost went with the more complicated answer. Ollie didn't put a emphasis on it. Really? You really think that when they're in spring training they didn't emphasize defense? There's no way. You really think that they watch all these errors over and over and over again, and Ollie just says, get better on its own? There is a concentration on defense. But when you don't have good defenders in certain spots, the ball's going to find them. And Nolan Arenado, let's be real, Nolan Arenado took a small step back this year defensely.
What the hell's wrong?
There's a lot of double clutching out there from Nolan, much more than we've seen in the past, but he's still an elite defender. I used to say this all the time with Mike Matheny. The defense was bad under Mike Matheny. And the narrative that we heard from a lot of fans was there's not an emphasis on defense under Mike Matheny. Really, one of the best defensive catchers of his time.
Yeah, no kidding.
Had no desire to play good defense. And then when Schilt took over, Schilt knows how to emphasize defense. No, your defense got better. Harrison Bader was inserted into center field almost on a regular basis when Schilt took over. Goldschmidt wound up being a key component of that at first base. There's a couple other players
Colton Wong, Paul DeYoung.
Yes, exactly. Colton Wong.
Some pretty good players.
Yeah, that kind of was on Mike. Mike didn't always play the young guys. And Mike Matheny. Mike Schilt, you're right. Bader's going to be, hey, you're my everyday center fielder.
Yeah.
Wong, you're my everyday second baseman. There was better defensive players. Therefore, your defense got better. Your defense got worse this year, Jamie, because you had worse defenders. You did. Jordan Walker is not an outfielder right now. He might develop into one. I hope he does. Defensively, he's not there yet. Alec Burleson is not a great defensive outfielder. That's a problem. Tyler O'Neill, who is a good defender, missed most of the year again because of injuries. You didn't have Harrison Bader this season in center field. Dylan Carlson's a good defender. Not elite, not like Harrison Bader. Newt's a really good defender. But Contreras, you went from Yachty to Contreras defensively. You got worse defensively because you got worse defensive players. The question is, what do you do about it?
Yeah, I don't know what you do about it. Do you go back to a lineup that can't bang? And just have a bunch of, because that was the problem at one point. The Cardinals were so sound defensively.
Yeah, they couldn't hit.
But if Goldie had a bad month, you were screwed.
Right.
You know what I mean?
What would you rather have, though? Like if you...
I'd rather take what they have right now. What they have right now, you can work with. Like, you got Tommy Edman at shortstop. You got Nolan Gorman, or when Brendan Donovan's healthy, second base. And you got Arenado at third. I'll take that infield. I will. I'll put it up against almost any other infield.
But wind's coming up, hopefully.
What's that? Okay,
hopefully. So next year.
I'm talking right now. Next year, fine. Tommy Edman goes back to second base where he's a Gold Glover. Mason Wynn's at shortstop. I'll still put that infield up against all of Major League Baseball.
What are you going to do with Gorman?
DH. And why not try him in left field? You're going to put Alec Burleson in left field? No offense. I like Alec Burleson. I love the individual. I like the player. But if you're going to put him in the outfield, why can't you try Gorman? Gorman looks more athletic. Is he not?
But why not have an actual left fielder?
I don't know, Anthony.
Well, but I
don't know, Anthony. I'm telling you.
I'm trying to make the team better.
So what's your solution then?
My solution is...
go ahead.
Okay. Are you really asking that, or are you upset? Are you upset with me right now?
Pissed off because you didn't let me finish.
Go ahead.
Never let me finish.
Go ahead.
You always
right.
cut me short, and it's frustrating.
Jamie, that was disrespectful.
No, go ahead now. Now I have no desire to finish.
That's not true. I know you. And that's not true. This is the one statement today that you've made that was factually just inaccurate.
I can wait. I'm patient.
Wynn is my shortstop next year. Arenado at third. I don't mind Gorman DHing, but my outfield, I can only have one liability out there. So Newt in right, and then like DC in center, and Walker in left. Fine. None of this Walker and Burleson in the corners.
No, I agree.
I'll take the Jordan Walker. Okay, I'll take the liability at one spot. Other than that, I'm not mixing and matching as much as Ollie wants to. I think that's the other issue. I think Ollie likes to mix and match the, lefty-righty matchups, and this is you don't have good defenders top to bottom. You got too many bad defenders. They're going to sneak into your lineup, and to me, I would rather have run prevention. I would rather key on run prevention. We talked about this a little bit earlier. It's not just the defense. It's not just the starting pitching. It's not just the bullpen. It is an and, not an or.
Yeah.
Starting pitching and bullpen and defense. It's run prevention.
So then there's players that have to go.
Yes.
Because
we didn't even mention Donovan.
No, yeah, like we're building a team here with certain guys that are not on the roster, and yet here we are with Gorman, can't find him a place to play.
I think that Tommy Edman will be traded in the offseason.
Would you trade Gorman?
No. Left-handed pop.
What about if it was involved in a Dylan Cease trade?
Yes.
See what I'm saying?
Because I need an ace.
That's exactly what I'm saying, though.
Yeah.
So not that you don't want Gorman's power, because it's obvious what he's got, but if you got Tommy Edman playing second, or Brendan Donovan playing second,
Mm-hmm.
Mason Wynn and or Tommy Edman. You have a combination of those three guys playing second and shortstop.
Yeah.
Because you can do that. And then you have your outfield that you're going to have better defensive guys, say Newt, Carlson, and Walker. All of a sudden, Gorman becomes expendable, but only for a certain category of player coming back. Like,
does that alleviate the problem, though?
Well, it certainly helps you out. And yes, it does alleviate the problem. Now you're not scrambling just to find at-bats for certain guys.
But I think you're still got the issue with Edman and Donovan. I think that's where your problem is.
Yeah, maybe, but I'm willing to deal with that. Because I trade Tommy Edman, great, fine. What are you getting? You trade Gorman, you know you're getting value. Because he's never been, his stock will never be higher than at the end of the season.
Yeah.
He's a young, cost-controlled power hitter from the left side. Or you get Tommy Edman, a utility player. But that's what teams look at, Anthony.
What the hell?
You know what I'm saying?
Can I interest you
No.
in a situation where we don't have to trade any of those guys?
Oh, here we go. Just spend. Just buy a guy. Go ahead.
Arenado at third.
He's
Win at
trading
short.
Goldie again.
Win at short. Gorman at second. Goldschmidt at first. Contreras catching. Center field is Tommy Edman. Newton right. Walker in left. And I'm still trading Donovan, I guess. I do have to trade somebody.
And Carlson.
Carlson's going to be a fourth outfielder. Apparently, Carlson is the worst player ever, according to a lot of people. So he's just your fourth outfielder.
How does that happen? Just out of curiosity. I watch him play, and I don't see the worst player ever. I see a guy that struggles at the plate from the left side in particular. But how does that happen to where it's cold, dead hands to can't play in my outfield?
You can't hit right-handed pitching.
So
the book apparently is out on him.
So
you're talking to somebody that wants to see him play more, by the way.
So as an organization, at what point do you approach him and say, hey, by the way, you're no longer a switch hitter?
Yeah, cut the crap.
We're done. Like, we're done with this. And according to analytics, his left-handed swing is 4 miles per hour slower than his right-handed swing.
There you go.
How are you going to make up 4 miles per hour? I don't, 1, 2, you're like, it's something, 4 miles per hour.
Yeah, ditch it.
That tells me the story. You just don't have the velocity coming through there.
Right. I think you go to him and say that, Jamie. You say, look, here, sit down. Sit down. Stop crying about your playing time and sit down. You're 4 miles an hour slower from the left side. So you want to play more? You want to be an everyday player? Stop the switch hitting, start hitting right-handed pitching, and you could play more. And this is from a guy that wants to see Dylan Carlson play more. But that's the approach, Jamie. And cut the crap. Have a little bit more Doug Armstrong in you. Trade O'Neill. Trade O'Neill for a bag of balls. Say he's your problem now. We'll take the balls. And the vitamins.
Yeah, you will.
We got balls and vitamins. You got O'Neill. That's what I'm thinking. Hey, we have Beat the Street coming up next, but we do need a Beat the Street contestant. BTS is what you can text to 314-399-9646. Again, BTS, 314-399-9646. If you want to play Beat the Streak, we're going to do that next. And biggest question of the day, too. See you.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Cards pick up a victory yesterday against the Rays, 6-4 the final. Matthew Liberatore on the mound tonight going up against Zach Littell. 5:40 first pitch. We talked earlier today with Chris Kerber. If you missed that interview, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the 101 mobile app. You can find all of our interviews there, as well as the full show. It's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Also, you can find the full show on our YouTube page, as all of our shows are archived. We have Beat the Streak and Biggest Question of the Day coming up next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and this Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
I want to hit baseballs.
All of my successes depend on me.
You ready to hit?
The hits just keep on coming.
And his first big league hit is a bullet up the middle.
Time to play Beat the Streak here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Jamie Rivers and Andrew Marsh and Anthony Stalter. And we welcome in Ray. Ray is our guy, our newest contestant for Beat the Streak. What's up, Ray?
Hey, how's it going? We're doing pretty good. How are you guys?
We're doing great. Thanks for playing. You ready?
Yep, absolutely.
Marshy, what do we got for streaks?
Yes, so
who's going streaking?
I got another hit with Randy Rosarena yesterday. Jamie chose Lars Nootbaar. He got a hit. Yandy Diaz, unfortunately, Anthony, I think he went 0 for 5.
Yeah.
So he did not get a hit. And John
jerk.
from yesterday, he took Brandon Lau, and that was between, it was either Brandon Lau or who?
He said Lowe.
He said Lowe.
And I said, do you want Josh Lowe or Brandon Lau? Because they're both spelled the same, but they're said differently.
So he wanted Lowe, and then you sold him Lau?
I was clarifying. Do you want Josh Lowe or Brandon Lau? And he said Brandon Lau.
Oh, Anthony. Really screwed our guy over. Anyway.
So what's the order?
So it'll go me. I'm at a streak of 3. Jamie's at a streak of 2. We'll have Ray go next, and then Anthony, you are back to 0 as well.
All right. Go ahead, Marsh.
I'm going to stick with Randy Rosarena.
There you go. Hey. Somebody once chose Luis Ariz for like 6 straight games.
Yeah, and it worked.
It absolutely worked.
Yeah.
So you do your thing. All right, Jamie.
I'm going to take this guy named Siri.
Jose Siri?
Yeah.
It's probably a good call.
Hey, Siri, get me a base hit.
You did that on purpose.
Did I?
Yeah, you did.
You know what? If I screwed it up, I could say, hey, Alexa, get me a base hit. Hey, Google, what's a base hit? You're welcome, everyone.
That was brilliant.
I even set my own phone off.
Yeah, you did. Ray, who do you want? Ray left us.
Looks like we lost Ray.
Marshy hung up.
No.
I didn't hang up on him.
We
Give me a
lost
second.
Ray.
We didn't lose it.
Well, I mean, poor Ray. He probably needed to shut off all of his gadgets
Maybe
now
that's
after
what I did.
you just did.
I triggered it.
Yeah, you triggered his Alexa. What?
No, it's fine. There's so many different options.
Mm-hmm. Cardinals Rays 5:40 tonight. Matthew Liberatore versus Zach Littell. Lars Nootbaar will lead off play center field. Paul Goldschmidt is hitting second, playing first. Nolan Gorman is hitting third and playing second. Nolan Arenado, he's your cleanup hitter. He's your DH as well. Tyler O'Neill has not been scratched. He's still in the lineup as of now. He's hitting fifth and playing left field. Alec Burleson is hitting sixth and playing right. Andrew Kisner is hitting seventh, and he's behind the dish. For Matthew Liberatore, who's starting tonight, Taylor Motter is hitting eighth and playing third, and Tommy Edman is hitting ninth and playing shortstop. At this point in the year, evaluation is high, which is why I like to see Taylor Motter in the lineup, Jamie. You guys see what you got in this guy.
Yeah, you got to make sure.
Have we completely lost Ray?
Dave.
I've called Ray back twice and no answer. So I'm kind of concerned right now.
Okay. How about we do this? Ray, hopefully you'll have an opportunity. If you want to play tomorrow, you can start your streak tomorrow. Okay. I'm going to take Harold Ramirez, by the way. Harold Ramirez is my choice. No, he doesn't play anymore.
He'd get a hit, though.
He probably would. Mm-hmm. All right. Let's do biggest question of the day.
Wait, are we going to sub somebody in, though?
No, we'll just start the streak tomorrow.
Circumstances.
Yeah.
Already.
It is.
Let's just hope Ray's okay.
That's what I'm hoping. Yeah, I called him twice, Anthony.
I don't want this to be a Moonlight Graham situation where he never has an opportunity to play beat the streak because he had to save somebody. We got a great text, too, by the way. And this should be the biggest question of the day, but
we're getting some good stuff. Everybody wants a piece of beat
Ray?
the streak.
We got a text earlier when we were talking about the whole Moonlight Graham situation, and somebody texted in and said, why couldn't they just roll the little girl onto the field?
Or just pick her up and carry her onto the field.
Yeah, so that...
But they didn't know that Moonlight Graham was a doctor. He's a baseball player. So why would they know to take the girl to him?
But he knew. He ran
up. He
up.
could have stood there and said, hey, I'm a doctor, but I'm allergic to anything but the baseball field.
Okay. But Moonlight Graham went up. He saw the situation as a young baseball player.
He could have spoke up, right? I guess. Because otherwise, how would they know?
Yeah.
Like if I just saw a baseball player standing there, I'm not going to roll my child to him and say, save her life.
But Kevin Costner knew.
Oh, that's right.
You know, he looked at it. It is. It's Kevin Costner's fault.
What's his name? Ray?
Ray.
It's all come full circle. That's what happened. We just put that together. To you.
It was Ray. People will come, Ray. Wow. Anyways, you got a question? Besides the one we just threw out there?
Time for the Fast Lane's biggest question of the day.
I can't believe that just happened.
We did the Dave Chappelle.
Are we connected at all at the end?
Oh, my goodness. All right, guys. Matthew Liberatore is on the mound tonight, and he's taking on the Tampa Bay Rays.
Wow.
This is weird. But we all know that Matthew Liberatore came from that organization. It's his first time going up against Tampa Bay. How do you think he fares tonight?
Not well.
At Tropicana Field.
Well,
yeah, not well.
First things first. The very first time that Randy Arozarena comes up there, you got to dot him between the shoulder blades.
You know, Jamie, I'm with you on that.
Honestly.
Like, send a message.
Screw you.
Right.
Oh, Mr. Great, hey? Oh, you come here and you've been amazing.
Yeah, watch this.
Yeah, just plunk.
Yeah. Well, this is the start of my career right here. And I'm starting it by dotting you in the middle of the back.
Yeah.
Jamie, I think that's a great call. Otherwise, no, I don't think he pitches well whatsoever. There hasn't been much to love about Matthew Liberatore's game outside of the one start against Milwaukee, who doesn't hit left-handers. So, there you have it. You think he pitches well?
Tonight? No, yeah. I think the moment's too big for him, to be honest. It's probably a lot of stress for the young man going there. He sees what Randy Arozarena has been able to do. He hasn't been able to solidify himself at the major league level yet. I think he tries to overdo it. He tries to overpower guys at times, and they're going to time him up. I hope that doesn't happen, but I got a feeling it's going to.
I'm with you on that. All right. We'll come back. We'll wrap up the show.
By the way, did you guys see what John Mozeliak said to Bally Sports Midwest regarding the path to the bigs for Mason Wynn and Luken Baker?
Go blank yourself, San Diego.
There are real struggles at this level, and are you better off doing it here, or are you better off maybe being able to work on some things at the AAA level and gain some confidence?
Okay, so we'll never see Mason Wynn.
No.
What the hell?
What else is he saying there?
Who's to say he's going to struggle?
Exactly. So John Mozeliak, so let's just get this straight. Mo doesn't believe in him.
No.
And he's going to keep him in Memphis forever.
Or until he's eligible for Rookie of the Year next year.
Sure.
And then he won't have those struggles anymore.
I didn't hear cold, dead hands. I heard this
thank
kid can't.
goodness.
This kid can't play. That's what I heard.
Here's something. I'm just going to throw it out there. Maybe they don't want him to play at the big league level because he might not be their future shortstop. Maybe he's in a trade package for a starting pitcher next year, and they want to showcase his talent at AAA and not showcase it at the bigs.
You know, it's one thing to hear the crap spewed by Mo that the kid can't play, but you, Marsh, to sit here as one of the biggest Cardinals fans that I know and suggest that the Cardinals should trade this kid for a pitcher.
I never said the word should. Never said should trade.
Jamie, did you hear that out of Marsh?
Oh, I heard it. All right.
Okay.
You guys are unbelievable.
All right. What you missed? Criticisms, compliments next.
Anthony, women's soccer is on the world stage currently, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. FanDuel always has fantastic promotions going on, and one promotion that they use across several sports is every new customer gets $1,000 in bonus bets.
That's right. Absolutely.
All you got to do is sign up. Use FanDuel.com/fast.
And then you could check out why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook, Jamie. Yeah. You've got all the odds. You got player props. You got team props. You got the futures. You can do live betting when it comes to the women's soccer tournament. You can do all of it at FanDuel. They got great promotions, and the app is safe. It's secure. It's super easy to use. And when you win, boy, you get paid instantly. It's all courtesy of FanDuel. BT's got the rest.
So what do? You sign up for your no-sweat first bet up to $1,000 at FanDuel. Go to FanDuel.com/fast. That's FanDuel.com/fast to sign up. 21 and over, President Illinois. First online real money wager, only $10 deposit required. Refund issues non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem, code 1-800-GAMBLER.
Stalter back with you for Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum. You got to go visit my friends at Auto Centers Nissan with over 700 cars in stock in one location. We're not talking about multiple locations that you got to drive across town. They have options for everyone to choose from. Again, one location, Herculaneum, Auto Centers Nissan. Brand new Nissans, quality pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. Go visit my friends at Auto Centers Nissan and go home in your new car today. They've got Nissan Altimas. the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. If you missed anything from today's show, you can always download the podcast at 101ESPN.com or in your 101 ESPN mobile app. It's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. We talked about whether or not the Cardinals will try to sell Dakota Hudson as their ace for next year.
Ace. What the hell's wrong with you?
Jamie took Tyler O'Neill behind the woodshed for not playing the last 2 days. Did some Blues bits, NFL better bet. Lineup game was an absolute disaster today. What has been the Blues model over the last couple of years? Jamie with some insightful stuff there. Talked a little college football. Caleb Williams, can he live up to the hype? And is USC the best bet to kind of ruin the SEC's party? I said no. I went with a couple of other different teams. Talked about why hitting is up this year and pitching is down, and that's not just for the Cardinals, but across the board. And also the Cardinals' biggest problem being run prevention, not just starting pitching or bullpen or defense. So that's all available on the podcast, again, which you can find on 101ESPN.com or your 101 ESPN mobile app. Now time for some criticisms and some compliments with our guy, Andrew Marsh.
I love the text line. From the 314, Ray got called to dinner.
A little younger. Got called to the, or maybe he's at home. Wife doesn't know.
Ray, dinner.
He went off to the side there and, hey guys, can I wander Franco tonight?
Maybe Ray had a pay by the minute phone.
Maybe.
And he ran out of minutes.
Yeah.
It was apart from Field of Dreams.
Yeah.
Also.
Oh, I didn't pick up on that. I
didn't.
Read it.
Yeah. Jamie picked up on it.
I thought, yeah.
What part of, what is that?
No, you're fine.
The dinner?
Yeah, it's when his wife calls him, Ray, dinner, or dinner, Ray. Or
Time
whatever.
for dinner. And he's like, ugh.
He's like chopping up all the corn and building a baseball field in the middle of nowhere, Dyersville, Iowa.
Bring it to me. I'm busy.
Can't you see I'm building a baseball field?
Put some foil over it. I'll hit it later. I'm working.
They should do Field of Dreams too. What really happened?
The director's cut. We got the text line. I was having a rough day, but you guys have been a real ray of sunshine.
Oh, wow.
Well played.
Very well played.
We got a text from the 618. Just had an odd moment where I was reading Mo's quote, and then Jamie started saying it also. Kind of scared me at first. Thought Jamie might be stalking me.
You never know.
I mean, you never can tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jamie's been, he can be like Freddy Krueger at times.
Haunt your dreams.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
From the 636, I'm waiting for Rivers to put a towel over the camera, like in the penalty box when Anthony pisses him off.
Oh, yeah.
Why does everybody think like...
The what?
I piss you, I'm the only one that pisses you off. Come on.
Well, Anthony...
There are people in your life that piss you off way
right,
more
Anthony.
than me.
But here's the thing. You're the guy that pisses me off. So, you're not the only guy.
Why can't you piss me off? Like,
Well-
why are the texters always like, oh, yeah, Anthony's going to piss him off?
Yeah.
Well, like, you don't piss me off?
Probably not. Probably not.
I get this much anger and this much rage, and you don't tick me off from time to time.
I don't think I do, Anthony.
By the way, Marsh just extended his streak.
Oh, he didn't beat him.
He didn't beat him, so Randy Rosarena single
For
up.
those listening, Matthew Liberatore just pitched against Randy Rosarena and didn't take my advice of pitching and hitting him between the shoulder blades. Otherwise,
Just give up a
now
hit.
he's got to look at a base hit.
Yeah.
Or the rhombozoid trap.
Scapula.
Exactly. The scapula.
Yeah. Right there in the back.
Right there.
The old
Right there in the old,
Maximus.
right there in the old dorsal fin bone. All right, that'll do it for us. It's a replay coming up right now. Andrew Marsh, Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter. We'll be back tomorrow at 2 o'clock. See ya.